Welcome everyone to the PUBG Mobile Club Open UK Spring Split 2021 final, day number 4 here on our screens. Of course, thank you to our sponsor through this whole tournament, Xiaomi, creating innovation for everyone and creating innovation on the desk here in the Magic is Professor Tarzan here alongside me, man. How are you doing?
Oh, I am so excited. You know what? Such a journey to watch all these teams fight through, how they progress as well, how they contain all the pressure and perform. Is such an honor to be here. So thank you everyone for supporting us, not just as all the teams as well. And thank you for all the production staff that has allowed this magic to happen. You know what? I can feel the pressure though. I can feel it for the players, but I know some of them are incredibly prepared and excited for it as well.
Yeah, there is a lot of teams here that are going to be playing super aggressive, and to get those points, you got to be aggressive, Tarzan, here. And you see in that first position, 15 points going to be the standing for each game that these teams can pick up a win on. So, although, on the other hand, teams that are going to be at the top of this leaderboard going to be wanting to avoid that bottom half, because 13th to 16th position, boom, that is absolutely 0 points going your way. Of course, 1 kill point per knockdown, and first you are able to pick up, and that is going to be that crucial 1 black box there, that point per kill, which is going to decide which of these teams will represent us in the top 3. But of course, taking a look over at our top 3, we can see RESQ, Lakonostra MVP, and 777 ESPORTS, currently the 3 teams still looking to represent us going into the final day.
But we can see the teams below them as well, Highland Wolf. They are just 1 good game away from taking that spot away. So it's going to be incredibly intense. And this is the time to test the mentality, right? The team spirit has to be there no matter what happens. We can see how teams can bounce back completely in 1 game or 2. Like RESQ, we were worried for them yesterday, right? Didn't perform so well in the first 2 or 3 games, but they just bounced back. And we mentioned about those kill points as well, right? We can see some teams maybe getting 1 placement point, but can still get to double digits when they come to kill points. So that is something that we need to see. Maybe we'll still get to find out some new tactics, etc. But it's going to be them to show us what they can do. Yeah.
Of course, a team here that needs to be picking up those kills that you talked about, team challenging that top 3 positions, is HardShift. Only 9 points away, but crucially, look in terms of the points here on their kills here. Yes, they are the most replacement points, but they've only got 32 kill points. In looking down at that leaderboard, Tarzan, you have to look a little bit further down, all the way specifically to 11th position with the Uncles UK, to be able to find 32 points, a number that low again on the leaderboard. And I think we talked to the side of HardShift, and they talked about how they were implementing 2 new styles coming into this week and practicing them in their scrims on Monday, going into the tournament earlier this Thursday. And it has actually proved a lot more successful for them. Much higher, though, in terms of their 15 spot in group stage, now in 5th place, challenging at top 3 in finals. But they definitely have to show up in the kill points, because that, Tarzan, is where they are lacking.
And I mean, whatever they were trying to do, it's been working decently. When finals started, they told us, you know what, because we just made it into finals, we're not like aiming for PMPL Europe West, like straight away. They just want to play their own style. And now they are so close, it's for them to see, you know what, we can actually do it. And we need to find a way to consolidate those learning points like they mentioned, and then go even further. And I think when it comes to this type of improvement as well, we have to watch a team like Most Wanted, right? Just made it into the PMCO UK, then just made it into the finals. And they've had such a decent day yesterday. 1 chicken dinner with double-digit kills. Then we've got a 2nd place with a lot of kills as well. So they are in here, this very experienced team, using the substitute player Tes Team today. They told us they've got great synergy, although the experience is not as top compared to maybe the rest of the lobby. We could definitely see that great potential there between that substitute player and the rest of the team.
Yeah, Tadazika has been coming up absolutely clutch for the side of Most Wanted. But a team that unfortunately didn't come up so clutch yesterday's games, TSC Legends in 8th position. And there was some personal, unfortunately, issues. Of course, Bujo,
Mm.
we talked to him. We had a discussion with the team. They said that he had to go be with his dad, unfortunately, in hospital. So big up to Bujo, and we pray all of us that your dad gets well soon. But he is back on to the team here in tonight, and he is going to be a full squad of TSC Legends looking to claim that top 3 spots. And more specifically here, Tarzan, these top 3 spots are still not safe. Even RESQ at the top, that's one game away. That's one good game away from some of these teams just below, and one bad game for RESQ, and immediately that scoreboard shrinks completely. And even as a whole here, Tarzan, we see all of these teams, even the likes of in 10th position Gaijin, could even take one of those top 3 spots.
Yeah, and in particular, Lakonostra MVP as well. They had very good games. And speaking of them, of course, we went back to our points about how they dropped in Erangel. It's so important to see how these teams are going to play out this map because 2 out of 4 last games we have in this tournament in PMCO UK are going to be on Erangel, and we need to see how they play it. Once again, we are seeing changes, adaptations, and different styles coming more and more distinct from these teams. So we will start with Erangel once again, moving on to Sanhok, then Miramar, and the last game for our tournament being back on the Green Hills of Erangel.
Yeah, in Erangel here, still going to be 50% of the games, but I do want to mention, of course, here, Tarzan, that 50% of these games are going to be elsewhere on Sanhok and Miramar, and this is where we've seen teams really start to struggle, and really, I think some of these lower-end teams start to show up more, but on the other hand, though, we talked about Most Wanted, one of those teams now on from the bottom all the way up to the top, even BeMyLOOT from day 2 and day 3, they've been able to really show up, and even they challenge in the top. And I think in terms of these top 3 teams, as we mentioned, Tarzan, they're not completely safe, but I think what they do have in their pocket is that ability to really be aggressive and really be adaptive to how these teams are playing, especially even the likes of 777 esports.
Definitely. They told us that they're going to play really, really aggressive. I mean, they are a team that we didn't expect to show up like this. And now that they're sitting at that third spot, of course, they're not fully comfortable at that level yet, but they are trying to change things up still. So this is going to be very exciting to watch, to see this last minute or last day adaptation, to see whether it will actually pay off. And you know what? I can't say more. We just need to really see. But we've talked about enough about the teams at the top. We also should talk about the teams kind of at the bottom. So we spoke to Insani at the IGL of Sons of Odin. Of course, they got some strong showing yesterday, picking up some decent kills, in particular in Erangel, the map that is most important in here. And they just said, you know what, they will play a little bit of a hunting style still, hunting down those bottom teams. So that can cause some kind of clash because some of the top teams may aim to do the exact same thing. But it's good to know that they're coming in to, enjoy themselves, like they said. And that is so important. Like we always mention, don't forget the fun.
Yeah, and the fun is all what counts at the end of the day, as long as that is what we're doing. That's why we play games in the first place. That is why I get aggressive here and slam my microphone, because that is how much of a point it is here, Tarzan, in terms of being able to really enjoy the experience that these teams are having. And I think that's what these teams did mention over generally in terms of the bottom half of the leaderboard. We talked about, of course, how they are going to be more aggressive, how they are going to really just take it back, just chill, and be able to take us any fight that they want to, every fight that they want to here as well. And I think going into the top side of that leaderboard, mainly the focus goes towards those lower teams against them, who are going to be that no mercy teams, those no mercy squads that will just absolutely run at you 100 miles per hour and it just won't stop.
And we haven't talked about Ki1 enough as well. Right? They are somewhat consistent. They're hovering around that spot for, I don't know, the whole tournament basically. And they're quite reluctant to reveal like how they're doing. So there might be some surprise that we can see from a team like Ki1 as well. And let's not forget about TS Team as well, hanging around that seventh position right now, just above TSC Legends. They shown how they can capitalize on the area that they're trying to control. So you know what? It's all out there. We don't know. We just need to do our jobs and see how they play, and we will be rooting for all of you. And same for all your fans and family. And you know what? Whew, such an honor. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it is going to be full action-packed, spiciest, juiciest matches I want to be seeing now from the PMCO UK Finals. Show us, guys, what you can be able to do potentially in the PMPL EU West. We've now the do or die situation as we hit on to that first map, as we get ourselves prepped and ready to see exactly who will come out on top.
You know what? We are also ready to find out the drop spots as well. We had some ideas in mind, but they may show us otherwise. So we're about to go. Is everyone ready? I know I am. I know Highland will really ready as well.
Ready.
Same for all these players. Let's just take it away. The plane is about to fly any second now, and we are going to find out which team can represent the UK to go to PMPL Europe West. We will have a very familiar playing path, we should say, going over that southern side of that military base all the way towards Zaki. So, of course, it didn't appear quite enough times to hospital, actually. So, a very western playing path. Okay, so that same point will come through now. Where will the Lakonostra MVP go? Because Pubg is not in range. I'm guessing Fairy maybe. What do you think, Highland Wolf?
I think I do see them going over to Fairy Pier once again. I don't see them being so versatile of a team to pick an even new drop spot going into the final day, especially considering that they are one of these top teams to be able to challenge now those top 3 spots. But concern is also going towards the side of TSC Legends, slightly further down, of course, remember, in 8th position, who also won't be able to go straight over to the Mansion and Prison Hills. And instead, they too will need to find a new position. I think, although these teams finding new positions, it is, on the other hand, great news for all of those teams that love to drop over on that north side, who love to drop over in Georgia Pole. That is where the congestion will be.
And I think the fact that Lakonostra MVP drops around Therapy can be to their advantage, because around them we've got TS Team and RENGERS, who are not considered that strong at the moment based on standings, so they can actually hunt them down if they want to. But meanwhile, we'll get that phase 1 circle actually going to that eastern side, so the whole eastern half of the circle is completely empty, or even more than that half. So these teams, if they want to play that conservative style now, to have a quieter phase 1, they need to get into that zone as soon as possible.
You do see, of course, that zone going opposite of that plane path toward the northeastern side. Unfortunately, as well, for the side, I believe, of Ki1, they have lost one member. Either that or Will Be Wild Esports going to be losing one, but that fight and that first blood has come through at the start of this game for now. Ki1 rotating through, looking for maybe a better position off of that road junction towards the north end, and going to find themselves straight for a position inside of zone.
And we can also see the likes of the Uncles UK, right? They like going to that mill to drop, but they're around South Georgia Pole now, so very close to the top team being rescued right now. So this is something that other teams might not want to see happening, because those points and kills may go over the rescue. But you know what? We saw what Uncles can do. Maybe they're there to take down the Kings instead of giving them all the points. And we can see maybe the sort of rescue needing to make that work, and Most Wanted, a team that like to go really, really far to the northeastern side, now need to get that rotation in. We'll go past Hackshot and the rest of the Ki1 squad, and we'll be able to make it through for now.
Very, very risky to have 3 people here in the same vehicle, with only Tadazika on their own right now, not in a car. That could have been a disastrous start for them. but nevertheless, they do get out scot-free. And now Most Wanted also rotating for a position in the zone. And I think this might be potentially what we start to see going into tonight's games, Tarzan. Teams being preemptive and being as safe as possible with these zones, especially considering it's a zone that has gone completely, as we say, the opposite way that southwestern plane path was all going.
Yeah, I mean, the timing of those rotations are completely key, especially in these situations where the phase one circuit doesn't complement the playing path, and these teams need to find out and just bring it out of the knowledge books, right? From all those studying, what did the data say? What did the statistics say? So they need to find a way to maneuver through the enemy teams. But we also see a start of 777 Esports on our screen right now. Dropping to Novo, there's no surprise there. So it's just them alongside Royal Knights, who are the two teams that favored going for a South Island drop. And what we saw yesterday, right, is some clash around that Eastern Bridge. I think it will happen again. So I think the Royal Knights, right, came up ahead in that one. And then 777 Esports really need to make it work, because that is very likely to repeat due to the phase one circle's position. And they really need to win this one because they are so close to the top. There's no space for them to make any mistakes here.
Yeah, speaking to 777 Esports, we talked as well about how with them they were going to be slightly more adaptive. They talked about how Royal Knights were so detrimental to them on those Erangel matches in yesterday's games, and how they just completely griefed over them going towards that eastern side bridge. And Royal Knights once again pulling that rotation off, but on the other side, it's Lakonostra MVP also making a rotation through to RENGERS, a team that also mentioned they're just going to go aggressive. They're going to take every fight they can, and they won't be able to take this one, though, because Lakonostra MVP, they already rotate away and safely through U3. Ki1 Senso here to now go, and they will get through as well, home free.
I wonder what RENGERS are thinking about, because we've seen their ability in taking big wins, and in particular that Miramar win that they had, right, in the group stages, but they are not showing up yet. And of course, part of that reason being they're playing certain games as trios, but they are now back to that four-man team, and they can maybe show us what they can do. Of course, their chances are a little bit slim being at 16th place right now.
Yep.
But once again, the mentality of these bottom teams might really changed of that leaderboard. They are not scared to take that fight. There is nothing to lose. There's nothing to fear, therefore.
And not only taking up big wins, you're also taking away points here, crucially, Tarzan, from some of these teams on the top of that leaderboard. And taking all of those points, if you're going to be that hyper-aggressive team, actually sucks away the chances of teams on top. And teams like TSC Legends, maybe in the middle of the leaderboard, these teams in the center, they might just have that be the cause of them not getting into the top three.
Yeah. And speaking of that, right, RESQ, right, a team that could make so much magic happen when they got easy access to the phase one circle. And this time round is not the case, because they like to go to self-drawable crates and the circle shifts away from them. And we saw some misstep, right, when they're trying to retreat from or rotate from that western side to the eastern side in that game one yesterday. They were out at 15th maybe, alongside taken out by Royal Knights, exactly the team that we're seeing on screen here. So that could be a little bit of a factor here. So that we just need to see how they execute this one. And of course, Sons of Odin back to Pachinki. They took out the uncles last time, and they still need to work on getting that powerful position a little bit earlier.
Talk about positions here, Tarzan. What interests me is, of course, the city of Yasnaya Polyana as well. We talked earlier how teams don't usually take up that city, don't take up shop there to get up those early loots. And with also that plane path, the zero teams are going to be expected to be there until rotations start to come out. It is close towards the center of the plane, to the zone, sorry, and it will also provide some safety for these teams with such a large cover around them, and potentially see teams going over there early on, not only just to have a strong position, but to get up all of that big loot that Yasnaya holds.
Yes, and for example, HardShift showing us a lot of promise in how they can really secure those placement points, right? Still at the top. There's 78 points out of 110 points of their points came from placement, and that is just really, really promising. That is 10 points more than the second team that has the second most placement points. At 68, we have RESQ. So HardShift will continue to play the style. I believe they just need to find certain ways in that mid game to really rack up some of those kill points. And Most Wanted, listen to what we said for days now and went for that Yasnaya, and they will be, for now, able to comfortably sit in there, at least getting a lot of information to that western side to them. And the southern Yasnaya fields as well, very, very strong position. They just need to start preparing for the potential next shift.
An interesting second phase here, going over towards all of these teams. And what that does do is take some congestion on the side of these teams. You see Uncles have now landed up against, of course, the side of Ki1. They've found their first knock onto Moha. They're looking for the second, just coming through the door with the Uzi. Yes, they will take it. And Uncles, their aggression pays off. 2 clean kills to begin with. They now take out Hisoka with Argo's help, and Insane coming for the rest. But now Danoka's found 1. Hackshot and Danoka, the only 2 here alive, as Simple has fallen down. 3 versus 2. Insane comes up the window. Can they find 1? Yes, they do. And now they find a second, and Hackshot goes down. And so will Danoka, with the help of Royal Knights on the third party, and the 2 low place squads. They will be taking out one of the top.
Third party coming in. Royal Knights know the timing for that. They need to take this away. And Uncles, after upsetting one, will need to fight off another. And Royal Knights is actually timing it decently. But the 2 knocks come through first for the Uncles.
We've seen Royal Knights, so they turn it back around as they take out 1 knock. Can faster turn even more, though. They find a second, and Cable, with the help of the grenade, takes now 2. But they have to reset. They have to reset here, Uncles, because now Saint jumps out the window. Royal Knight still alive. Faster on the outside will be able to pop him down, and that will be the Uncles out of the game as well. 15th position, 2 quick team wipes, as it will be 5 kills going over to Royal Knights.
These teams are not joking, Highland Wolf. They had nothing to lose, and they are just running it in. So much aggression right now, and I know, right? Like, the Uncles went out pretty early, but not before they got 4 kills, and also 5 kills going over to the Royal Knights, hanging around that bottom table here to change things. So that is such a huge nightmare for Ki1, who were at that 4th position. And the teams like HardShift and Most Wanted, who are just underneath them, should thank these teams for playing that crazy aggressive style.
Gaijin Seraphim as well, really close up against Bowler on that roof of the outskirts, holding on for now over on the edge of that window. Gaijin trying to search him out, but he's not there, my friends. He's outside already, but being a sneaky little wild esport man he is, Bowler is just going to stay quiet, keep himself alive, but all we have to do is check on the outskirts. He stands up and now Adova jumps down, but it will be the shot midair that will find him, and Bowler also drops.
Oh, parkour action coming from both players there, and Adobe was so quick on the 180. Brilliant hipfire spray, and that will mean the rest of WoW Esports have to respect and go away, knowing the damage control is so important in this game. It's now or never. They told us they are still somewhat confident, so this is the type of decisions that we want to see, but not so easy right now because they're down to 2 players.
That zone also going to be closing in now to phase 3, and I want to draw your attention to teams on this western side. RESQ, TES, and Sons of Odin. They are going to need a miracle. They will find it for now as that zone does go closer towards them and away from that congestion coming out of Yasnaya Poliana. And then the opposite end here as well, Tarzan, HardShift, TSC, Lakonostra, and then Vendetta even closer into the zone. With so many teams close together on that east side, expect, as we see now, rotations going to be coming into the north side. Expect teams going to be rotating around those hills and looking over Roshawk, and that is where you see HardShift, a team that is known for their shift in rotations, going to be ending up.
That is such an important rotation from HardShift, showing us how they need to rotate. They know the congestion on the eastern side with those compounds already claimed based on how teams like to take compounds in the past games of this tournament. They went for that wide rotation, can still get some ground north to the river, and that's how Circle is just so hard to play. You don't want to easily come into Raza or the school area because it's so hard to scout for that. And so that is HardShift showing us how to do it. So many other teams still need to find a way in, and for now we have a little bit of congestion here still. Gaijin Seraphim don't want to let Wild Esports go, and they will try to breach this, and that's just a quick finish. The formation is there, and Kosti will be picked up in a matter of seconds as well.
Kosti Meat Shields here is only going to serve up 2 kills for their team, brings them up to 3, but elsewhere we talked about that congestion in the west as Ali will be knocked down to RESQ's grenade, and now down to 1 less member here, only 2 remaining, Dika and DR holding strong for TES. They have had strong showings. They need to take down RESQ to make sure that that stays alive. That their run here in the competition will continue strong and a chance stays. But Hyper moving in over the edge with Coyote trying to find one over the wall. They will take down Dika. 1 remaining, but make it to a course because they did pick up a second man with that revive for TES. They now separate, and I think maybe the call should be here to use the blockades of Watertown buildings, Tarzan, to just escape and survive for now. With still 13 teams remaining, DR goes down, and really DR is on his last legs, has to make a book for it.
And it's not just for TS Team who has a bit of a disadvantage right now. Same for RESQ. If they hang around here too much, they would just tank a little bit of blue damage, not the biggest issue. But the bigger problem would be losing that priority to those decent spots in the circle. And they just need to wrap this up now and wrap their minds around it. They got 2 confirmed kills and 1 other knock. They need to start going in. And we can see Tick leading the way now, going into more towards those really hilly areas with some elevation around that Rozok part of the map.
Crucially, though, TES keep themselves alive for now. Maybe can hide through the cover of Watertown over north towards the Rozhok area and challenge for a position around there past Gaijin Seraphim going into zone through that city. Inside that zone, no, away from the Rozhok city, has now shifted over to that east end with Lakonostra MVP still holding on to the zone just outside both school and Rozhok areas. And that position for them, although could be great for picking up kills, is also where these teams are going to be coming from across these compounds.
And look at TSC Legends, they took the time, they were quick, they claimed one of the strongest building. That's J building is so strong with a 360 view, and they need to be prepared to be crashed though. But look at HardShift noticing it's HardShift after HardShift, so it's wide rotation after wide rotation for them. Hartman leading the way, going back in the clockwise manner, now trying to come back in on that eastern side, but they might be just looked at when they are trying to rotate through this open field right here. 777 Esports is definitely a team that you don't want to give any points to.
Yeah, Snare Field's not going to be the grave so of HardShift for now, and if anyone can rotate, it will be HardShift. They've got a highest amount of placement points here in the competition, but it will be Vendetta losing one for now as well as they turn back both 777 to take focus onto Spartan. It will be his grave, however, and they will lose 1 HardShift, but the rest will arrive now coming into phase 4. The smokes inside the forest as Royal Knights and Most Wanted also do battle.
And this is such a typical spot, right? Really textbook position here with a lot of ridges, dips to park the cars, and this is HardShift, Most Wanted, I'm sorry, coming in to try to control this alongside the Royal Knights. So whoever gets that win will have a really good spot to scout many of these positions in this last phases of the game.
This now phase 4 closing in with Royal Knights towards the center. Most Wanted in the edge, though they're desperate for these kills. Maybe looking to take out even more of 777 and hurt them even further on their rotation as they go towards that river. There's not much space to rotate anymore if Most Wanted do decide to hunt them down along the edge of that riverside. But on that kill feed, you see Sons of Odin dropping here inside the school area as they cannot make their rotation in cleanly. Only Albert now up with RESQ overlooking that school area as well.
It's really hard to play this position, right? Of course, it's on the edge, and that's already one really hard thing. Secondly, how do you protect your vehicles if it ever shifts away from you again? So that is going to be really volatile around that school apartments area, and we can see Sambra getting killed. That will be the 4th kill for Rescue as they control this compound even more, and we're going to have the next shift in the matter of seconds as well.
We talk about the strength perhaps of even RESQ in their house right now, overlooking the openness coming out of school. But you also have to remember that we have seen before here teams crash into that one house and be able to squad wipe the owners of it beforehand if they do it aggressively enough, if they are quick enough. And I think RESQ might not have to suffer potentially that fate, because I do believe what they will do is rotate around to that south bend and look at the hills just towards that southeastern side. That potentially is where they might choose to end up.
And HardShift made the bet. They paid the price of losing one player, but they have one of the best spots right there. And they need to be ready, right, for the teams to wide rotate in so that they can come in from the south and the eastern side, because the other parts of the map, right, in the circle, the eastern side is already claimed by so many teams. So all these teams still outside of the circle may just go for a really wide rotation, but the timing of that will be so key. Lakonostra MVP, they need good games. They are at that second spot right now. They know these buildings are probably taken, and they just need to come in to claim it, but that is them in shambles right now.
You see one going down to that bike malfunction into the fence. Unfortunately, they have lost one. They're going to lose a second now as Danny also gets snipped from life here, as he will get crawling down, pinned into the grass. You see RENGERS also pinned here, losing one onto Mizagi, as they will just slowly bleed out and turn that green grass red. Royal Knights, so the perpetrators of both of these knocks, holding up strong inside of Zone.
Oh my god, and we know this compound is so strong. The J compound claimed by TSC Legends around 2 phases ago. Now they have to fight off another team, 777 Esports, at top 3 right now. They can't go down now, but the double knocks come through. TSC Legends need this fight to go their way.
They're coming in 8th position TSC against the 3rd place team. UV goes down, and that will be 777. Unlucky in his first match, as they maybe lose a second and a third, as it will be K2 to flush with the help of the rest of their squad. Londa out of the game too, and they will fall in 12. 1 point is all they'll grab for placements, and crucially, that will be an upset from this first match. But inside now, you see BeMyLOOT even putting in more upset to the side of our favorites and our victors in the standings right now is RESQ. Now 2 down already, will be a third, will be the entire squad out of that phase 5 zone. BeMyLOOT in 9th, they don't care, they will just delete away whoever they see.
Oh my lord, I mean, we mentioned that already, right? Like RESQ, when they are forced to play an edge style, it doesn't always work out for them. But you know what? I was happy to see TSC Legends making that welcome back, Pubg, welcome back, buddy. But you have to show us more of what you can do, because the circle will shift away from that J compound. It will go into the hands of Seraphim and HardShift. Both of those teams are actually putting a lot of pressure on each other. But oh my lord, what is going on?
It's a double-double here, as it will be Most Wanted losing 2 to Royal Knights. They can throw a do-man grenade as well, and they find a beautiful angle. They best be careful here, rotating around the wall just for some respite here from the brutal side of Royal Knights over the side of their house, inside the edge of zone, overlooking one of the potentially strongest positions in this game and one of the potential teams to try take up the top. Vendetta also smack out RENGERS, as Fortax will be pushed down to just one more member.
And that is HardShift grabbing another one, controlling that side. They've got the hills, they've got the cars protected, they still got 3 players, they've got the momentum and the position in the circle. This can be huge for them as they take out another one. Going into top 8 now with 3 kills, HardShift can maybe go even further.
They're picking apart the sideline teams here as Gaijin also now take one on to BeMyLOOT. Gaijin Seraphim, they've got 2 different fights to take though as TSC are straight in front of them. They've lost 1 knock for now as TSC blow down those smokes. And it's a clear, they put down more blockades of vision, halting the position in the vision from Gaijin Seraphim. But over on the other side, this is an open zone and HardShift has spotted them too.
So many of those top teams have gone down already, so this is going to be huge for, in particular, 3 teams. TSC Legends, and now up to 7 kills. They are in here to frag this. So for them, HardShift and Most Wanted, this is the chance to overtake those top teams right now, right here. And we have the phase 6 circle now closing. They need to put their eyes onto the important parts. Cable trying to get an entry spot will almost lose his health doing it. And HardShift was trying to increase the area of control by doing a little bit of a sweet split.
Look at the split and control. This might be their game to take as they find one crucial pick onto Royal Knights and they're moving uphill towards that zone faster. Will maybe fall down too, but the spray goes a little bit wide and now look for a reposition. TSC on the other side also chucking in grenades onto BeMyLOOT to eliminate them down further, dodging out their own position through into zone. Back both onto HardShift as you see them now maybe wipe out a second faster, keeps himself prone and alive for now. Then they turn their attention back to getting inside this phase 6.
And HardShift need to show a lot of what they can do best once again, because end zone rotation is different. They don't have a position in the circle. They cannot rely on the high ground anymore. So they need to increase the awareness right now, and they need to time it well. Every team on that southern side is now congested, needing to rotate in. So HardShift need to time this well. If not, they can get punished for that. And Bilal getting punished for making that rotation first.
Still 0 players inside this phase 6 zone as it moves even now to phase 7, shrinking that possibility even more of teams being able to grab a spot inside. And with now only 5 seconds here to go, they've got to start bringing their movement up a notch and really be able to move inside to safety. As Gaijin, they just won't be able to cut it. They'll lose 2 members. Now Lord and Adobo have to try keep themselves alive, but they will be the first from TSC Legends. And now with only Adobo alive, can the captain of his team secure a better position with BeMyLOOT one side, TSC the other?
And that is just going to be a matter of discipline right now. The reflex need to be strong. The compromising needs to come through. They are still trying to make those revives. That is really important for TSC Legends. They will have the numbers advantage if they can complete it, but those smokes give their position away. So if they've got utilities now from the enemy teams, they need to do it. And Gaijin Seraphim will find another one.
They will pick 2 and the entire squad of BeMyLOOT into 6th position. But on the other side, TSC Legends are struggling here 2 down themselves against Royal Knights. Bujo behind the edge. Adobo could still maybe pull something off, but as that zone shrinks in, he's got to stand up. He's got to be able to move up that hill past that tree line of cover, and TSC are overlooking them. Just waiting with Bujo as that smoke clears for Adobo to move forward.
Crawl your way through, dear players, because this is not the time for you to give any footsteps or information. They need to know it, and Hardman is smart by doing this, smacking away those tires without giving away any gunshots. He can also prevent himself from getting shot from underneath the car. So these are the basics and awareness that we need to see from these teams. They're trying to split right now. We need to wait for the next one, and this crawling action will be the name of the game right now, and Adobo will still strike onto TSC.
But HardShift will find his body and they will take his loot for their own. Is Hardman holding up now over to TSC? A beaten up TSC as they keep having to revive member after member, and HardShift they're trying to find even more, but it won't be for now as TSC will find Hardman. Bilal now chucks a grenade wide, won't be able to find a pick. His Royal Knights as well find one onto Kakita in return, and Simba with the help of Faster will be able to take one down completely. 3 now remain for TSC Legends, holding up the hill. Lotus trying to make it work, but already down, already out of relevance here. Spongy, the only one alive, and now Royal Knights, they've seen that kill feed. You see Faster running back to Simba. Simba, the only one for his squad. It's Spongy, hunts him down.
Oh my lord, it's so heartbreaking to watch. HardShift need to have even better trigger discipline. The idea is there, the execution just fell short, and this is Spongy actually coming really close. He can maybe take these last 2 kills, and he can get even more points for HardShift. Every point count right now, and the rest of the team still are trying to come in to get picked up, but that will be the clash, and that will be HardShift almost falling down.
You see Royal Knights still alive, Bo. You see them potentially able to use that smoke to block themselves in. As Faster, now the only one alive against TSC Legends, has to pull off the 1 versus 3 for his team. They're coming in with a fire. They're jumping, dipping, dapping around, but Faster keeps himself alive for now, but it won't be enough. TSC Legends will be the ones here to snack that chicken dinner into their bellies as they, alongside it, take 10 kills.
The much needed win right here. Welcome back, Buja, once again, and we could see the discipline of this team, how they turn every situation that seems to be a disadvantage for them into their strengths. But let's talk about Royal Knights. What the hell, man? 15 kills in the second place when they are supposed to be at 13th place. So they got so many points out of that game. Most importantly, taking it away from other teams. So HardShift, although it was heartbreaking to watch what happened there, but still a very decent game. 17 kills, right? And that is so important as we see them take that second spot away from one game. Of course, they could have gone further, but this is enough, I think, when it comes to them playing consistently. And we are heading towards that point, almost 90 placement points from HardShift.
TSC Legends, though, they picked up their 3rd now win of the tournament, the most successful team towards the end of the game there, and they also bring themselves up to 5th position, exactly where HardShift were starting this game. And with RESQ falling down early, with 777 and Lakonostra MVP also falling down early in that first game, this is what we talked about with the scoreboard closing in. And there is now only 22 points between that final spot in 3rd place for PMPL EU West. Also, all between that to 9th position with BeMyLOOT in 100 spot. And even Royal Knights, with a fantastic amount of kills that they picked up, now even challenge maybe that 3rd spot with one more good game.
Yeah, and that is just, it scares me, Highland Wolf, to think about Royal Knights actually having a chance, but it's true. They just need to repeat this a few more times, and with those kills, by hunting down some top teams as well, they can absolutely crush their dreams. And, it's just, I can't face it anymore. I can't take it. Like, imagine being these players right now. So, you know what? I think the most important thing right now, Highland Wolf, is team spirit and mentality management. Like, if you are going too hyper and you get a huge adrenaline rush right now, you will actually start shaking. Like, so that may go against you, right? But same, if you are too aggressive or if you're too low, okay, let's talk about the other way around, then you just can't perform as, like, at your best ability. So,
Right.
I think that is the most important thing right now. Like, there's no chance, no time for you to increase your mechanics. It's not going to happen. Like, you can't immediately change your style right now. It's not going to be, it's not realistic. So,
Yeah,
I wish I
it
can
isn't
get
realistic
into
at
their
all.
comms. Yeah, exactly. And what I wish I can get into the comms of these teams to find out what their IGLs or managers are trying to say, what the fans are trying to do, to keep them playing at their best. This is even more hype than I thought. And I'm so happy that we get to be part of this. This is going to be crazy.
I know you're on a journey with me alongside it. I'm so glad you're here in the desk here to keep me tamed from the levels of hype surging through my body right now, Tarzan. But I do have to cool myself down because it's still a short break away before we get back to now phase number 2. And that will be over on that Sanhok jungles, and that will be an exciting one as these teams prep themselves up. We'll prep ourselves up, and make sure you prep yourselves up with your snacks, your drinks, whatever you need going into that second game. It's going to be a good one. Welcome back, everyone, to the screens for game number 2 of the PMCO UK Spring Split 2021 Grand Final day here. It is a juicy, it's a spicy one, it's hot, heated action. But I tell you what it is also going to be. It's going to be on Sanhok here, joined, of course, by Final Wolf and Professor Tarzan, the only one on desk here. It is the Span Brankin looking man himself. How are you doing after that action-packed game going through that Erangel game?
So hyped. I know it doesn't sound like that, but I can feel it in every single cell in my body right
now. You're controlling it.
And, I'm trying to control it, right? I try to preach it. I need to do it myself. And just trying to bring all of you, like, what these teams can do, you know, like through our commentary, analysis, everything. And for a team like HardShift, you know what, I shouldn't say I'm concerned, but we could see the strongest map has been Erangel so far, right? And they need to really control and hold down Sanhok in particular, because Miramar, they've been doing better, right? If they can continue with that momentum, it will allow them to pop off once again in game 4. And that's just my thought. And of course, also looking forward to see how these bottom teams, right? Those who got nothing to lose, they will hunt certain teams down. They will upset the leaderboards. They will do what they need to do to leave their names in this book right here for PUBG, for PUBG Mobile, United Kingdom. So, you know what? I'm so ready. Let's just get going already.
I am ready for it too. And I think what we really need to note here going on to Sanhok for match number 2 is on the opposite end there, the top of the leaderboard previously from that first match, Tarzan. Teams like 777, Lakonostra, and RESQ all falling down early in that first game. I think being taken even by surprise by the aggression and the all-out of some of these teams that, as you say, don't have anything to lose anymore, whether they actually maybe now have a chance like Royal Knights to make it to the top or not.
Okay, so let's just don't look away, because look at Cal right now. Royal Knights is trying to hunt down another team, and I think that might be HardShift. Very close to that northern side as well, we have Sons of Odin. And that can really change things, and we can see HardShift adapting to that immediately. They get pushed away, and they will not go. Their uncles drop on Cal. Their plan has been so clear tonight. They just want to hunt those teams down, and we can see HardShift trying to adapt to that. Lotus get pushed away to Mognai. It's going to be hard as well, and we'll have that phase 1 circuit going to the southwestern island. Quite inconclusive still. We can still rely on teams having that idea to hold compounds like the trifecta to keep their options open, but that congestion on the northwestern side is just mental right now. While esports trying to disturb that leaderboard, and it's none other than RESQ.
Wild in 13th position, looking to take down the number 1 is Blood on the rest of RESQ here, overlooking that lobster building, which Wild have already taken control of. HardShift already losing 1 to Royal Knights, and that's a crucial pick for Royal early on. If they can continue that momentum, that will get them going places. But as we see over on that North Cardman, on the end, already has been now firsted out by Faster here. Gaijin, Lord actually, or should I say, for side of Wild, Lord will actually take down 1 of RESQ here as well. And that is also now going to be a second crucial knock as Tick punches down a second of RESQ. In the top members are fallen here, but not before Royal Knights will have 1 fired back against them. HardShift strike back.
You know what? HardShift needs to start planning right now. They know the circle's not in their favor. They've also lost one player. So they can maybe play patient and grab some kills right here, trying to third party this one because that knock is crucial for HardShift to eliminate that pressure. And Aga from Uncles is here to maybe finish what he started. And HardShift can potentially go for a rotation. We haven't seen that from them because their strength, of course, is rotation. And now that they're so far away from the circle, they need to show that strength once again, but I spoke too soon. HardShift will lose another one.
That's two of the top three here struggling in this second match, Tarzan, and this might be the way that tonight goes in terms of the underdogs coming up and rising up to those top three spots to represent when it counts here in this second match. But we do have to hold strong here. It is only early days, and we do have to remember that Royal Knights still did lose one, and with Uncles coming up against him, they are split away, with Starboy might be next.
You know what? With this game of upset continuing, Uncles and Royal Knights actually want to kill other players and not each other. At least that's what the other teams are thinking. But Uncles are here, still strong though, 2 opening kills, and they was trying to hunt down more. Starboy need to get out of that cover, and maybe Cable's too far away to support.
It will be Uncle Zoe moving in, and as we mentioned, that split drop from Royal Knights not paying out for them. Starboy does get himself back up to healthy days, though, as Uncles make their aggression towards his little petite shed inside that hilltop. Starboy holding on for now as the 4 members aggress up. Starboy holding quiet for now as they move out and try expand out. Aga going to be the one to search his shed. Can Starboy find it? Turn around, not going to be fast enough. And now Starboy's location is known. Has to pull off the 1v4. No, he will not. And he will get knocked down. Aga, they're going to be the one with the rest of his team to pull that third piece of Royal Knights into the ground.
You know what? This is also an upset because Uncle's further down that leaderboard, currently at 68 points. And compared to Royal Knights having that big game just now at 90 points, we did mention they had a chance if they have 3 consecutive big games. But this is not going to happen, seems like, because they've just lost 3 players. And 777 Esports can rely on that comfort now that they're in Hartin. They need to slowly go into that circle and find the area of control because they are still up there. They are only at 4th position, 1 point after Lakonostra MVP and 6 points below the side of HardShift. And HardShift can maybe try something else. We talked about rotation, but let's not forget about the other big tactic here in Sanhok, and that is the healing strat.
Healing strat might be just a way to put it off in Sanhok and hold on, really. As you talked about the healing strat there, Vendetta were one of those teams to pull it off in yesterday's Sanhok match. Took them about another 8 places up here inside the placement points from yesterday's game 10, but they need to show it once again. Show another good result as Gaijin also now take even more toward their side, picking apart Wild in front of them.
I actually don't know how these teams are trying to go for tonight's games. When it comes to the mentality that we talk about, in the likes of teams, top teams losing players early, they need to really have their clear mind right now and then focus on 1 or 2 things, right? Because of course, points add up through that tournament, but if you know you are only a certain amount of points off what you want to achieve, you need to use everything like desperate time, desperate measures. But I think healing strat is actually really, really valid right now for HardShift, and Lakonostra MVP will just still be hanging around P9, a position that is not quite center, but it's a position that they know and dropped, and they know this is strong for now to face against all the teams who are trying to rotate in through that main island.
It is one of those few positions here on this Sanhok map, but it hasn't been hot dropped by a team lower down. And that surprises me considering the amount and the consistency, in fact, 100% consistency here in the finals. The Lakonostra MVP have dropped over in Painan, and we saw how easily in the group stage that teams could have wiped them out in this now finals competition. But on the other hand, teams still moving in. You see Sons of Odin making their way towards the zone, on top though in this tricky crossroads against RENGERS.
And Sons of Odin is another team, right, that can show more of what they can do, and they're now trying to scout this boot camp area. And while esports are actually holding that one still and causing that upset that we mentioned, so I wonder where the rest of RESQ is right now as they actually come into that trifecta. Will be a very, very good early and mid game compound to hold down. And Gaijin Seraphim knows the strength of that compound. They held it in the past as well in this tournament, and they're just trying to maneuver through to other parts of the map. And I think that's the wise thing to do.
I think as well, another team that we have to talk about just behind Gaijin is actually BeMyLOOT though as well. Tarzan, BeMyLOOT, a team that did manage to make it to sixth position, albeit maybe didn't have the standout show that some of these other teams had. But considering that the points and the kills were taken away by so few teams in that first match, then comes the placement points and the importance of those, and even grabbing themselves a sixth spot. They were in ninth to begin with, and they can potentially still, with 3 good games, take themselves to that third position as well. As we talk about the leaderboard, though, Tarzan is still so close and still so together from multiple of these teams.
Yeah, definitely. Because if we said Royal Knights had the chance at 90 points, Gaijin definitely had one with the full team up at 88 points, right? So that is something they can do. And look at Lotus. They are looting Lakawi. I actually like this. I actually like this. This is something that's so important. They are trying to maybe study the drop locations right now, right? They split as well. Look at Sponge trying to go for the other side of that island, the biggest one split I've seen so far, and they are trying to split those bets. I think this is actually big brain. If we just try to clear their minds, forget about what happened earlier. This is actually the right thing to do.
I think it will be how these teams rotate around into this map to actually avoid potentially the danger of being that first team out. Keep in mind, this is a much quieter game compared to actually what we saw in Erangel, which, albeit with Sanhok's name and reputation, is surprising. Still 16 teams alive, despite even some of them being a little bit injured from that early start.
You know what? I almost want to preemptively talk about the mindset that these teams need to have if they have a bad game in Sanhok. They need to remember that it doesn't matter anymore. There's no more Sanhok game. It's officially the last Sanhok game in PMCO UK. So they need to really use their mental strength to forget about it if it goes wrong. And the Sons of Odin here, of course, coming into tonight, having basically no pressure and want to see how they can do what they can do, right? The team that we talked about being evergreen and a bit of a neo green team as well, right? Like a few weeks together, essentially, very different to a team like HardShift, who could implement so many of those new tactics and strategies because they've been playing together for more than up to 2 years now, actually. So we need to see how these teams build and hopefully not disband, through these crazy fights, and the pressure in this tournament is already a great achievement. So I want to see more from them for sure.
Yeah, to grab themselves a spot in the top 16 in the finals is still so much better than so many other teams in the UK scene that can be said for them. So I think that is something to hold their head up high about. But as we mentioned here, don't have realistically the most strong chances of qualifying into the top 3. But they can still upset in these final 3 games, and they can still change this leaderboard completely. We know the Sons of Odin can have bad aggression, as we saw in previous Sanhok games through this tournament. But just as we mentioned about Sons of Odin and their aggression, exactly where they did so along this coastline, which is now occupied here by Ki1 and TES.
And TES knows how to play this slow because they are a team that has shown potential and ability in assessing the surroundings and making the most out of the position. So Ali is actually really, really aware right now, knowing where the hard covers are, so where the players of Ki1 are at the moment, and we can also see Lakonostra MVP putting some action in, but actually on the backside there, because it was Gaijin Seraphim who found a knock on them, and Most Wanted as well. Another team that needs to show they've got one really good win on Sanhok yesterday. They need to repeat this, but they have to first go through the team of RENGERS.
Hisoka finds out in the back foot, and so will Mizagi find their footing slipped from under them, as it will be Most Wanted to take that scout and that person on the outskirts for RENGERS. As that zone phase 3 shifts over that bridge, that'll be a juicy one for the future, but in the present, Most Wanted hunting down their kills to make it their first blood. As Mizagi tickling down as this blue zone chews them slowly up.
And just look at the circle going over to Ruin. So the main island is no longer in. That majority of the land going over to that southwestern island. And I think this is good news for those solos of HardShift. In particular, Pubg, if I didn't misread that, on that northern side, if he grabbed all those first days right now, he can slowly edge in and can still use the grounds on that northwestern island on the southern coastline. And Most Wanted tier 12 actually get knocked there, but some return fire has come through, and Most Wanted still holding in here, but at what cost? We've got another 700 meters for them to travel, and only 23 seconds to go before the circle closes.
They have lost one member, Mizagi, down as well. U3Q knocked as well here. Malik and Fortax, the only two remaining. And inside this zone, it is going to be important to find your escape strategy away from Most Wanted. And that's exactly what you see the side of Most Wanted doing here. Moving round for the rotation into zone, knowing that phase 3 did shift hard away from them. But inside this zone is TSC versus Lakonostra MVP. Two of the top squads to take now arms up against each other. Bujo on this front line as Lakonostra MVP take a 2-2 split.
This is so scary right now. They just really need to use all their skills. They need to limit the amount of audio cues that they're giving away. Think about the slits and off angle right now, as Bujo wants to go for that wide rotation first. We just made it into cover, and that is huge position and rotation from them, because with that elevation, they can actually protect it, and that is them having that opening kill onto Senzo.
Senzo, the front line dead for Lakonostra MVP. Fortax also finds now Kid for Most Wanted. That would be an interesting one for the kill feed, but he will get knocked down, and Fortax eliminated by ads. But in the front of our eyes, it is Lakonostra MVP up against TSC Legends on the flank side. Bujo moving slowly in, maybe finds Danny, not quite. Not able, actually, with that final pick through the window, will snipe it down. Anori with the Uzi inside as Bilal enters alongside K2 for secondary support. They can't find that revive for now, and they will now find two down instead. The Pan Disrespectors are cooked up into Miramar for game number 3. Lakonostra Power take a power nap.
Oh my lordy lord, that Bujo with the big brain, you know, he almost costed his own life, but going for that high ground first to get that off angle, then coming back in from the side for another off angle with the disrespect finish with the pan as well, trying to smack Lakonostra MVP to the ground, trying to bruise their ego, challenging the mentality, and that will be the name of the game. They will also get an easy entrance, and Bujo will continue to cruise in, because we will have that Ruins finish, and those teams, they need to come in once again. They've got another 30 seconds to go. They need to know the game plan right now. Think about all the strong positions that the other teams might be holding and come up with a good plan. And TSC actually falling short a little bit. Same for the side of Prada, Sons of Odin, trying to rear in these streams of the teams who still got a chance to qualify.
A beautiful one to dissect away Gaijin Seraphim. Their 4x1 split not paying strong for them. Now just down to the trio. But they will have some alleviation from that engagement of Sons of Odin. Not can be said can the side of RENGERS, as they will now fall to the play zone as well. Sons of Odin here still showing up strong with 2 kills. So as Ads also falls down to U3Q. That fight between Most Wanted and RENGERS still playing out on that kill feed. But as we mentioned, that zone now going hard over to the coastline, phase number 4, and 777 looking strong on that coastal line.
It seems like the gods of PUBG is now on the side of some of these other top teams, so more comfortably in the circle are Ki1, 777, who are quite up that leaderboard, right? And they are given the zone, they just need to know how to control it. And same for the side of RESQ, I think they just are outside of that circle. It's not easy to leave this, by the way. They need to know how to farm, as well as making an entrance, because crossing that main road is so hard. If you play this game, you will understand what I'm saying. So RESQ still need to hold it down. They've got a 30-point lead, but they need to still play conservative.
We find the first onto Wild Esports, and that will make them 2 only remaining as Big Boss from under that tree line. Their comrade here inside the sea, looking to try beach up towards this phase 4, make it now phase 5. As you see, that zone is going to trickle in to that next shift. You see it on the other side, though, on the edge. Gaijin Seraphim looking to try take themselves to a chicken dinner. Kosti and Co. overlooking that cliffside of ruins, and that's such a strong spot on their awareness, because they can see actually there's so much of that line towards the bridge is free and open for them to move about. But that won't be the case, because that zone moves over to Tan Bang, and that's a juicy shift.
Oh, and the easy access to the strongest compound will go over to TSC Legends as well. They may get 2 strong games in a row. And for the side of Ki1, they're still in that compound, you know? But it's good because they get to gatekeep all the teams from the northern side. But it's not good news for many of these teams. Same for that blue zone coming in after 6 seconds. As cruel as ever, they need to rotate and outplay the zone as well as each other.
Wild wiped out from multiple of Gaijin and from multiple of RENGERS and Sons of Odin here. Sorry, excuse me, as it will be Gaijin Seraphim on the front line. So taking out BeMyLOOT drops down another 2 teams here as Vendetta also run from their position in the hills. Gaijin looking to pick up even more, but the zone looking to pick them up as well, as they need to run away from it at quick speed. RESQ also in danger as phase 5 closes in. Gonna snap up anyone and force them to heal and walk their way into this next phase if they do get caught by it. RESQ though inside do now look to pick up some of Sons of Odin with the help of that zone. Maybe confirm that pick as another one falls from RESQ. Blood finds Shoxy, and now up it just trying to find blood as well in return.
I just can't imagine how the leaderboards are going to look like after this one. Look at another circle closing in, and that clash. Uncles, they almost made it. They took down so many top teams, but will go down to the blue. So that is huge for Ki1. They're still in here, got no contest on that northern side, and they can enter. It only got 4 more teams in here, and TSC, another team that needs so many of those points, and this can really shake things up. They may have to rotate though, and we can see this huge hill separating many of these teams, and they need to use the position advantage in their favors.
In a matter of seconds, we now are down to 4 as RESQ Sons of Odin drop 6th and 5th position respectively. Ki1 here now holding up. Maybe might be that final team next to drop on to the next match, because they are in trouble. Hackshot to that zone will get knocked down to 2 players. They will go TES Team on that high ground, overlooking all of these teams in zone, but they're not safe yet. It's TSC in control of that zone.
And TSC needs to hold off the push from Gaijin Seraphim as well. They've got so many angles to look out for, and we can see them actually using this ridge line now. Kosti can get in, and that next zone shift will be really vital, whether it will push the side of TSC Legends out of the comfort of those hard covers will be a key swinger of the momentum of this game.
TES also now falling as it tried too long to hold Ki1, and they will lose on them before Dika knocked by Adobo a second with the help of BeMyLOOT, and the team's just teaming on these squads rotating from that hillside. TES Ali the only one remaining, but it will be Ki1 Ahsoka to fall down first. Ali makes it at least to third position.
It's going to be either one's game, right? Seraphim get the ridge line to slowly rotate around, can crawl and not give away anything, but that is vital because Ali will go to and get that knock first. So the numbers advantage now go over to Gaijin Seraphim. They're still playing slow. They don't want to risk anything.
You know, Gaijin be watching that kill feed, strong boy, because Ali now goes down and won't be able to take down the second knock for Gaijin from behind. Bujo also now is being revived. K2, though, keep in mind, was knocked down. With Bujo now not quite full health for this fight, might find themselves a bad deficit. But keep in mind, Gaijin Seraphim also have a little bit of hurt on those health bars as well.
Oh, really, really tricky one. Officially a 3v3, and the side of Gaijin Seraphim needs to leave that ridge line. So this is the time to use those utilities. Maybe choke out some sightlines with the smokes on top of BeMyLOOT and Bujo in particular. He has that Mark 14 in hand, just complete squad wiping ability from that gun right there, and we just need to see how Gaijin plays this. Maybe get one out to bait with two to trade. You know what? I don't know more. I just need to see how they play this, and I'm ready to be surprised.
Gaijin holding up on this forest line, holding now forward to this hill. TSC Legends are in control of Phase 8, and as that zone now starts to shrink, Gaijin are forced into it. They need to find this first pick with Lord onto Bujo on the front side. Can they find it? No, they won't, and Bujo smacks them down. But on the other side, Gaijin now lose 1-1 trade, as it will be Kosti making maybe back now crucial pick onto the second TSC Legend. Shakira coming in, but it might be too late. They will fall down as well, and it will be Gaijin taking control of a split TSC Legends, taking that second chicken dinner.
And I believe with that win as well, Gaijin will take the 7th place at least, and almost outranking Most Wanted there. But let's not forget about TSC Legends. They are on their way back with 6 kills, and the second place they will take 18. So quick maths there. They are up at 2nd place, I believe. So they are coming back, and that might be not just the battles between them, Highland, the battle between you and me when we picked our top teams. Which team will win the PMCO United Kingdom? And Highland will pick RESQ because he watched those scrims and saw that momentum coming, and they proved him wrong. Proved him right, I'm sorry, and but I kind of want them to prove him wrong because I want to be right this time around. TSC Legends taking that 2nd spot now with 135 points.
Look, my risky play from 12th position in group stage, betting on RESQ now, is to take a dominant series of games, but not so dominant here tonight because they only now increase their lead to 164, and those teams be coming up behind them. You see now only a total of now 15 points separating between 3rd place and 8th position, down with Gaijin Seraphim, who take that spot themselves. Lakonostra slipping out of that top 3 as well, all the way to 6, and 777 still to come back in as well.
And look at this point separation as well. The 3rd place to the 6th place, 6 points to separate. And that is just crazy right there. I mean, like, it's not only the fact that they can overtake each other, they can still overtake TSC Legends and put them down out of that bracket of the top 3 going to PMPL. So, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And once again, I will mention that thing when it comes to mentality and fixing things between games, and focus on the things that they can fix will be really, really vital here.
Look, I think for the teams of 12 to 16th position, uncles and below, they don't have so much of a chance really now with only 2 games to go to make a strong showing and make that 3rd place at least, particularly because, of course, other teams are going to be still earning points ahead of them. But I do think in terms of 11th place, 2 now, including that third, even second position, Tarzan, that's where teams can look to take it. And that's where teams can look to steal those spots for PMPL away. And I think it's great to see, but of course, we see so many teams so close together in so many teams making this possibly one of the tightest races for any PMCO region.
You know what? Points is one thing, math is one thing, Highland Wolf, and we showed a little bit of a slice of our brains yesterday when it comes to quick maths. But you know what? Momentum. Let's put things into perspective, okay? Like everyone, 3 points in the last 2 games so far from 777 Esports. 1 point from Lakonostra MVP in the past 2 games. That is huge. That is such a huge difference compared to the rest of the other teams who are in that bubble. And we need to work like through that mentality topic that I talked about in relation to this. And we wish to give all of you that insight as well. Going is not just the so-called hard facts and the points. We need to think about such a key thing like momentum, because like having been a player myself, like that is the biggest struggle, like the biggest challenge as an IGL, to pick your team back up and see how you can allow them to play at the best, because it doesn't matter like how good you are or your potentials are, your mechanics. If you can't bounce back and keep your head clear, you just cannot perform. You will choke so hard that you are giving away the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, and even a team leader yourself, that experience of even coaching a team, and what do you even say to these players like Lakonostra MVP who would only be getting 1 point?
Then, well, okay, are we doing role play now? I will first go to.
Okay.
Let's say I've got power over Inori,
Okay.
like their owner, and an IGL. I'll remind them of the power they've had in this tournament before. Do a little bit of positive imagery to get themselves sinking in that idea. Those scenes and pictures or streams, like just clips of them fragging it out, dominating, and tell them right now that you can't like pull each other down. This is a time to bring each other, like bring the best out of each other. And if there's, don't care what way you use, there's enough reasons as to why you have become a team. Remember the reasons why you come together and forget about those who can sometimes be your trouble. And if we can focus on that right now, get everyone to do a little bit of maybe breathing practice to pace the body so that it won't go against your playing. That will be the key thing that I focus on. There's no more pep talk art like when it comes to gameplay. It's all about the mind.
Yeah, and the mental fortitude here is what these players and what these teams will need going on to the hottest game of them all. Miramar on our screens, just a short break away. Make sure you guys stay tuned and make sure you keep your eyes glued because it's going to be a beautiful one. Estamos de vuelta por partido número 3 de PMCO UK Spring Split 2021 y muchas gracias por my sponsor here in the competition, of course, Xiaomi, creating innovation for everyone. As you can tell by my Spanish here, Tarzan, we are ready for the third match on Miramar, and it will be a hot and spicy one here because these teams do or die for these points and for these chances to get into the top 3 for the PMPL EU West.
One thing that I'm definitely looking at for Highland Wolf is how these teams are trying to hunt down a particular team, right? We've seen that theme coming in this last day of the finals, and it actually causes a lot of trouble for these teams who had a very decent chance to grab those top 3 spots. And so the teams really need to adapt, right? We saw in the likes of HardShift just now getting dropped on by basically 2 teams. They need to maybe come up with a different game plan, and that is going to add a lot of spice and change of dynamics. So we just can't wait any further. And this is officially the last map of Miramar that we're going to have. Going to miss it, and we're going to find out very soon in 2 games who will be crowned the best team of United Kingdom this split.
It is going to be so close going into this match, and the pressure really on for these teams as we will jump into the Miramar match. And as I reveal my camera, we will jump back into the third match. It is going to be a juicy one. Keep your eyes peeled because it is going to be so good in terms of who will be able to grab now that top 3 position. You see on your screen, so Tarzan, that central plane path playing kind for now, and we won't see like what we saw in the first 2 games with teams seeing an opposite zone to the plane path itself.
This is going to be really, really interesting because they got access to Hacienda del Patron, one very populated area in our region's PMCO, as well as Los Leones, not far for them to get to as well. And TSC Legends get the comfort drop. Now back to Al Asahan, they are trying to frag even further. So with a plane path like this, it opens up the option for now until we see that phase 1 circle. And we want to see in the likes of, in particular, I should say, HardShift. How are they going to play this one? Because we've seen them doing different things on Miramar. They've dropped Hacienda del Patron, they've dropped to the northwestern side, or they may just go back to the comfort drop for months of their playing around the eastern side of Los Leones. Western side is the actual case. So they are actually going to adapt once again. The last one off the plane, they are going for a very southern drop spot. And the phase 1 circle will be pretty centered just off to that northern side.
It will be an interesting zone compared to how teams usually drop here in the Miramar match, Tarzan, because we know very clearly the teams love that position around Hacienda del Patron, and particularly RESQ have shown up strong in terms of their positional early game advantages, moving over to the plateau of Picado Hills to the north and overlooking that compound itself. that might be one of their core now places to take control of in this early game and catch out rotations of these teams moving in through those Picado area.
And also looking forward to see how Lakonostra MVP plays this, right? Because Hacienda del Patron actually won't be as congested as the past few days of this PMCO UK play. And this is the classical drop spot. So they went back to it, back to the comfort pick, and they will need to see how they maneuver because they're in that dead center right now, and they know that part of the map essentially better than any of these teams. So they need to find a good way, right? Not just to loot up, but get an edge for themselves, right? Get into the strong position so they can have a strong start, because we mentioned how they only got 1 point in the past 2 games, and this is now or never for them.
Of course, it is the side, though, of even Wild Sons of Odin, 2 of these teams in the bottom who realistically, unfortunately, are eliminated pretty much mathematically at this point now from those top 3 positions. But what they can do here is be a massive thorn in the side of some of these squads who have still that chance towards the center of the leaderboard. And I would love still to see some strong aggression from these 2 squads and from these squads down at the bottom, even Uncles UK, for the likes, joining them in that 12th position right now, to really put in the pain and put in the aggression that we showed in that first match.
And speaking of having 2 teams having a plan, right? RESQ is very close to Lakonostra MVP, right? RESQ is around San Martin right now, and Lakonostra MVP, like we mentioned, around Hacienda del Patron. So if the game plan is to hunt down each other, they actually are very close to each other to make that happen. And so that is one thing that I want to see, and it will be really, really spicy should it happen. But I actually don't think they would go for that style, because high risk, high reward doesn't always go your way, right? So need to see how they pull that out of their arsenal and make it work. And the side of Wild Esports, we saw them actually trying to hunt down some teams and causing troubles, in particular to the side of Most Wanted, the last game, I believe, and RENGERS, the other team, causing problems to Most Wanted. And it's going to be quite hard for a team like Most Wanted, because they haven't gotten the strong games yet, and they actually still have a chance. But Miramar, for this tournament, not the strongest map.
Yeah, this map itself, this 3rd game of the day, is going to be the deciding match for so many of these teams if they can make it to those top 3 positions or not. And one of these teams who are going to be desperate for points, for a high placement here, is Royal Knights. They had an absolutely pop-off near chicken dinner win in the first game on Erangel. They can maybe have that again on Erangel, but that's in the future. In the present right now, they have to make sure, and the onus is if they take this top series of points once again on this Miramar match, because if they don't, even the greatest Erangel game cannot save them from being eliminated from the PMCO UK Finals qualification spots.
And you know what? I actually want to make some predictions here for HardShift in particular, because this is somewhat center circle, but more favoring the teams on the northern side. And HardShift went for that adaptation, go a very, very southern drop spot. If I, you know what, just an educated guess, I think they would go for a wide rotation along the eastern road, so they can end up on the very northern half or northern tip of that map. And that it's kind of something that they've been doing. So that will be my guess. And we will get to see how correct I am when it comes to assessing the styles of teams. And we will still have quite some standoff, like a team like Vendetta playing as a trio. It doesn't have many pressure. And we spoke to Bilal as well. And they basically said the same. They just want to show what they can do in these remaining games. And given the fact that they are the only trio, we are yet to see any knocks or kills in this game 3 of tonight.
A quiet game three, and I think because these teams like us here, Tarzan, understand that the pressure really is on more than ever to make sure that this game counts towards them, and Miramar is not a safe or easy map to be able to do so, to guarantee these points and guarantee these placements, and particularly with the zone shifting around centrally to half end of the patron, that is a really interesting position for these teams to really scout around and choose where they want to control. Of course, the most notable spot, though, the Picado Hills, as we talked about previously, the high ground advantage now, looking over teams in terms of the vision game, is going to be so important because the teams with the most vision early on will make the most educated and informed rotations later into the game.
And you're completely correct, the Highland Wolf. When we talk about Hacienda, right, we talked about teams actually going there, right, in this finals stage of the PMCO UK. So that being the center zone, I want to see teams actually outplaying each other with the amount of knowledge they have for that part of the map, and challenge a team like Lakonostra MVP and make them work for those spots. Because if we bring ourselves all the way back, right, to after day one, they got the 74 point in that game, day one of stage play. They already told us they are ready for PMPL, and they are now actually bumped down to the 6th place after 2 games, having 1 point in those 2 games. I mean, they need to really show what they're made of, the experience, or the reasons they came together as a team, that partnership between Lakonostra as an organization and MVP Gaming. They need to show us the reasons why they created this super team.
And this phase 2 also going to show us where it's going to be shifting straight over that happy ender compound, but also crucially moving towards the center. Graveyard going to be an interesting center point for these teams to be controlling over those graveyard hills, just down towards the side of La Bendita crater. That potentially with Royal Knights there is maybe one of the strongest positions overlooking these teams for vision, alongside, as we already talked about, that Picado Hill.
And I'll take the small win here. HardShift did win for that wide rotation along that eastern side, and they will continue to maybe loot up a little bit, right? Because the blue zone can hurt quite a bit. With 48 seconds to go, is going to come in. But look at Lakonostra making it count. Those are so important. That flush onto TSC Legends will slow down the momentum, and Lakonostra can use that as the anchorage point of that, not just momentum, team spirit and everything, and they can maybe get more control in this middle zone.
I'll tell you something, that's about the same amount of points, if my maths is right, Tarzan, if they got in those first 2 games. But brutality aside, that is now the chance for them with that pick to move in towards TSC Legends if they play this smart. Bujo on that court outside might be the next to fall, because without any support from the rest of his teams on the outskirts and that away from that shed, he is in such a vulnerable position. Even Ki1 moving around the outside, you can see looking to try and make a rotation, but Lakonostra MVP spoiled away by Vendetta UK from behind, and they will also find one knock, and Alicio far out from support.
And the idea is there from Alicio for that off angle. It can actually make it work in their favor, but that position that Lakonostra MVP is holding cannot be held long because of the lack of covers, and they will be exposed to so many teams that went for a rotation to the north. So this is them actually knowing that problem, going back to these hard covers, but they need to make a bigger rotation because this compound has very limited escape strategy. There's no elevation. The escape paths are really, really open, and they really need to make that adaptation now, because Vendetta, although they are kind of at the bottom there with only 3 players, they are causing so much trouble right now for them.
But what we did see earlier on is a rotation from TSC Legends, with one moving towards the zone, the second of Ki1 looking to try support Bujo and allow the 3 members a route on out of there. As it will be Bujo to make some escape. Ki1 will stop Vendetta taking a second knock, and it will be Bruty as well to bleed out on top of that sand dune. But alongside Lakonostra MVP, they will lose another player. RESQ inside the zone here, phase 2 closing in. A team also that although they had that lead, and that lead from the first 3 days protecting them from these miserable first 2 games for them, they have now a chance to redeem themselves and show us, and show me why I picked them as my favorite team to go up to that first position.
For sure, and they have the first fight of the side of the uncles. They have been causing so much trouble. They are the team that puts the most effort into hunting down teams, and they've been causing so much disruption. They're taking down top teams again and again. Now, on the face of RESQ, has the position advantage with relation to the circle as well that goes over to Graveyard and Minas Generalis. So that is a very, very tricky cross. We can see that main road that separates Graveyard and that plateau that we always mention. That is going to be really, really hard for them to play. Most One Ticket is actually in position to punish those teams who need to cross that road. And HardShift need to thank the gods of Pubg for this, because that allows them to play the edge style, and they can come into La Vendetta with little resistance right now.
La Vendetta with Ki1 overlooking north side of that on the crater, going to have the high ground outscoot of Most Wanted, and as well the side of Royal Knights inside the graveyard itself. 777 trade 1 with TES and the kill feed as RESQ as well to make their way through. You talked about Uncles being that aggressive team, but they won't find any knocks for now. Blood on that high ground, still searching though. 777, as we talked earlier, and that kill feed, a 1-for-1 trade, 3 members each, but unfortunately now it makes it 4-man advantage for TES as they bring back their full squad and their full power. The grenades going in from Gunner, but on the outskirts, UV bleeding away down. TES will be able to pick that 1-man advantage up.
It's hard for 777 Esports, but that is Londa saying otherwise. They can maybe take this fight, and they need to do it quick because they need to cross that road that we are talking about. Not just them, the side of RESQ needed to do that as well. Those white rotation options will go down as time goes by, as the circle comes in. So 777 need to get out of here now. Maybe there are more teams coming into this plateau, and they will have insufficient cover to fight them off.
Oh, a beautiful one from Tango. Dances its way into DR and a second onto Dika. That will be the double knock, and TES inside the smoke will lose half their squad. And it will now be the sole member of TES team on the backside, looking to make their rotation in a better way through into zone, because they're the only ones remaining. Still 16 teams are up. And crucially, I think this will also mean that these teams still alive are going to maybe be still a little bit more passive, or albeit until needed, take those fights, as you see with RENGERS now rotating in towards BeMyLOOT, Clash DP knocked, and as well as Kindboy, but Kindboy now being revived back up. Clash D might not be so lucky. Mizagi hunting him down, looking for that first, and will be able to find it.
And look at RESQ! Look at that kill feed right now. They are out! I think they are completely out of the tournament. They went for a later rotation, I think, with the position known.
Yep.
They were completely wiped. And that is them paying the price. Like I mentioned, you have to think about what allows you to go into next circle. If they keep fighting, they will need to face more than one team. And this is going to be even a harder one for these teams to show, because it's a HardShift going to the southern side. And the team with the name HardShift actually has some path to rotate in, but they have to first face off the side of Ki1, who is also sharing that eastern edge. But this is still going to be a fight going on our screen right now. BeMyLOOT is trying to finish the side of RENGERS right now.
BeMyLOOT, they take advantage of RENGERS making that mistake and putting 2 members in the shed. A little bit of an error there, as they will feel that pain and that mistake. 2 members down for them, losing half their squad. HardShift also losing members, as TSC and Co on that eastern side will knock down multiple, as Unsania Sambra also fall. Lakonostra MVP, though, in the midst of it all, having their own fight against the Most Wanted, and they are a team that needs to not only win this fight, but knocking out Most Wanted would be a proper way to do so.
Lakonostra lost some players early though, so they don't have the numbers advantage, and Kid just need to know how to bait for his teammates. The 2-2 split is now still strong, but they do bear in mind this is on the edge. If they stay on these type of elevation for too long, as teams come in from other parts of the map, they can not only get knocked, but can get finished from these positions.
But they don't care, because from the outskirts, Most Wanted losing one to the side of Uncles, rotating in for even more. But they have in front of them even Wild Esports rotating, and that distraction will be enough for Simple to be knocked by the Tide inside Graveyard. It will be insane now for Uncles. Not going to fall down, though. Keeps up the 3 members alive. And Lakonostra MVP, they're starting to have loads of these teams, loads of these players around him. Even Shoxy, that grenade doesn't find his mark. Maybe throws a second. Will be the Molotov there through Shoxy, but he finds one in return. And Nori has to move into the wall. Will keep himself alive. The angle, not quite right for Sunsboden.
Just need to time this rotation now. Lakonostra need to think what resources they still have. The vehicles is so important if they want to grab more points. They are not even in that range yet. But 777 Esports is out. They continue to struggle when it matters. So this is so huge for some other teams. I know, like HardShift lost one, right? But they still got a spot there and they're still holding strong. And 777 is one of the competitions. With them losing the life early matters so much. Lakonostra down to 2 as well. Need to defy that possibility. They need to defy those odds, and Shoxy, the last one standing, continue to cause troubles for many of these teams.
TES team also eliminated away as Uncles now lose one to Wild, and Uncles will permanently lose that member as Simple as it will be to confirm going through. Royal Knights, they have held on to this position round Graveyard this entire game, and now is the opportunity to show it coming up here behind TSC Legends, who with that grenade will completely find themselves out of this third game, and now the onus on TSC Legends to make it into an epic game 4 if they want that opportunity to take those top 3 positions. The upset from these teams from down under are making it happen as that Graveyard finish shifts once again. 0 players inside, only Uncles now making their car rotation in.
That is massive for so many of these teams. Just look at top 6 right now. Number 1 and 2 RESQ, right? And TSC Legends out in this game. 777 Esports at 5th, out. Lakonostra, only 2 players remaining. HardShift and Ki1 can maybe enter, and they need to capitalize on this. Now they need to crush those dreams when the gods of Pubg are on their side. And who would have thought Vendetta is the team who maybe crush the dreams of TSC Legends, stopping the momentum completely. And the Uncles are trying to do the same continuously in tonight's lobby.
It will be Gaijin, though, who will not lose for now. Although they've had 2 members being knocked, they return 1 knock against Uncles. Now you see Prada moving in against Arga, but won't be able to find the peak shots for now. And Adobo on the other side, looking to try stop side of Uncle's aggression. The Molotov going to come out, maybe try find some time to buy for those rebuys as the grenades going to knock down Prada even further, but Insane will be completely knocked away. The grenade won't quite find Arga, but puts him down to just 1 bullet will do it, and now he keeps himself alive, though instead keeps himself in play as Dober comes round the side, gets a first aid med kit off, and that will be crucial because now he takes down another for Gaijin, but it won't be the flush. For now, he still keeps himself alive. Arga pulling it off on Adobo so low as well. 1 more bullet into each, and Adobo saves it from disaster. Gaijin Seraphim can breathe a sigh of relief for now, as now TES move their way in.
Haga, what the heck was that? He almost made it work, but Gaijin is strong still. But TS didn't make that time, took that time to do a third party, and that's Lakonostra out at 10th position. So that is disaster for them. It's down to Ki1 and HardShift to make it work, but Lotus lost his life in that vehicle explosion. Ki1 is in here to win this.
It is a door wide open for Ki1 to take this chicken dinner from everyone else, as Lakonostra MVP also fall out of the game to just 1 member, I believe now, is Gaijin Seraphim. holding strong inside this zone, have the position in their hands. So do Most Wanted, looking for a position down into the north of zone, but Vendetta are in front. Bilal will fall down completely as 12 takes that one away. Just Aiden now alive.
I can't even see properly what teams are still in there. They are falling like flies. And look at that middle circle. Actually, less hilly than day one. We rely on those ridges in that end game, and no one actually wants to go in. But we've got Royal Knights actually making an entry spot, and Most Wanted want to clear out the side of Aiden, and Vendetta fell at 7th place, and 12 almost lost his life, but this is good. They've got a lot of information position to find out what the middle zone looks like, and they can maybe claim that northern edge.
This zone now going to close in as phase 6 she's a climax. You see Royal Knights on the outskirts to the east side alongside the rest of these teams, with BeMyLOOT even coming up for that sandwich onto Ki1. Will be TES on the opposite side to find one onto Gaijin Seraphim with that nade, and with a second we'll be able to now eliminate Prada completely from this match. Gaijin onto their last legs as well.
So let's not forget about TES team, 114 points. And so still at the 7th position. One pop-up game from them can actually change so much, and BeMyLOOT actually not so good when it comes to the points so far, but they are strong in this game. They've got 4 kills and the full team. Not a lot of teams get that numbers advantage at the moment.
It's so important that Gaijin are relying now on the rest of these teams up in the leaderboard as well, who fell down early on, to now stay alive and be able to pick up these big point wins in this final Miramar match. But Royal Knights, they won't be able to do the same as they lose 2 members. Ki1 also falling down as BeMyLOOT, they crawled their way into that sandwich of Ki1, and they're looking to now make it a full 4-piece topping for themselves on this kill. It will be Clash D inside the zone, dips back out to try find a reposition, but won't be successful. Hisoka goes down, but Moha also in return with Hisoka makes it the 3rd man, and BeMyLOOT will pick up the kills that they need. Ki1 also eliminated in 6th position.
Nemo with the sweet flank making it work for themselves, and they can still upset this leaderboard. But just look at the teams in here. When it comes to the qualification to PMPL, I'm sorry, and that is TES team actually with maybe the chance to grab themselves a lot of points that matters here. And same for Most Wanted. They've got 9 kills right now. This is the game that they need. They are finally showing up in Miramar.
They could potentially here already grab 24 points as a minimum going with a chicken dinner in Miramar here, Tarzan. But of course, there is still plenty of players allowed to increase that up a little bit more. Most Wanted find another doubling now to double digits. It is 2 numbers to 10 here. 25 points could be the standings for them. Make it maybe 11 as they pick up even more. But so are BeMyLOOT. They're also on 8 kills. That could be the chance for them to really suck up the points and put a nail in the coffin for some of these teams still contesting this 3rd place position, the 2nd place position for PMPL.
And just look at the numbers advantage right now. The side of TS team should realistically be gone, right? They're just playing healing game, and so it's a 3 versus 3 solos for Most Wanted. But they need to time this rotation right, because look at that circle. No one wants to go in because it's so split, and that's not good news for the IGL. Being Kid going down right now. The blue zone's now closing in. They need to know when to strike. They need to make it work now. Sultan continues to play spoiler.
Sultan is doing the work that BeMyLOOT needed in these games today, and they are going to finally fall down to the zone, make it 3 teams remaining. Gaijin have held on all the while, keep in mind, so overall Knights is faster on his final moments potentially in this match too. Most Wanted have the 2-man to 1-1 advantage.
And faster in that smoking bucket, need to get further in, and that might just be another kill for Most Wanted, and they will find some shots on it. Just missed it. ADS need to ADS in and make it work, but Kosti will steal that away, turning it into a 2v1.
Kosti has now all of it on him to make that 2 versus 1. Can't quite find the shots for that ridge line, not high enough yet. Needs to peek his head over a little bit more. Bacosti maybe going to cook a grenade, try and make up a most wanted dinner for their team. It will fall short. Adds 12 here now, closing their way in, snaking their way in. They chuck the pan in, gonna look to chuck the side of Gaijin Seraphim under into second position. Yeah, they do. They've got a circle
now.
indeed.
They have to be proactive now. They need to use that ridge. They need to split up a little bit. They need to pinch the side of Kosti. They can't even allow him to die to the zone. Every point counts right here. 17 meters to go. Kosti may be completely out of utilities, but if he can just use one nade to opening it and turn it into a 1v1, that can be the play that he's going for.
It's going to be up to Kosti to make sure that his aim is true in these final 2 potential kills they can grab up. Would be 7 points in the chicken dinner. 22 points would bring him crucially up into that 5th place position. But Kosti now needs to rotate through the smoke to the second rock line here. Needs to take out ads coming up in front of him, but it won't happen. 12s from the outskirts will find it in most wanted. 11 kills take themselves the game.
And they will enter the 130 mark as they took that chicken dinner, bringing them all the way to 133. Probably taking that 3rd spot right now because HardShift went out pretty early as well. Same for Ki1. Decent mid-game with some frags, but just look at the other teams. Lakonostra MVP continues to struggle. 777 Esports tell us they've got a different plan. And that kind of just threw away their 3rd place, which they started with before tonight's games.
It is so close on this leaderboard. It is unbelievably close. And if my maths is right, 3rd and 4th position should be tied right now. Is you do see Ki1 going to be tied 133 points apiece to most wanted. That is undeniably now so close it comes down to kill points and who will be able to really be that stronger team here going into the final match for Erangel. But keep just your eyes going down a little bit more, Tarzan, because Gaijin, they sneaked themselves at 5th position.
You know what? Let's do some maths here once again, right? We've seen 777 Esports take up to, like big wins, right, would be up to 28 or even 30 points. And just add 30 to any of these numbers right now. And you can see how crazy it is. Even for BeMyLOOT, they can take 148 points if they have a 30-point game.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy to think about. And I don't even know what to say anymore. It's down to these teams. You know what? Sometimes they don't want to play a risky style, and they will just keep playing their own game. But we will, unfortunately, hear the sounds of dreams getting crushed through this coming game. So it's it's really complicated feeling right now, and I just wish them all the best, and I just want to see the best of them and let them speak for itself.
Yeah, I think we can safely say, albeit that RESQ are going to be one of the teams to represent us here in the PMPL EU West. They are still 30 points ahead, albeit they have not had the showing that is what we need from teams that are going to be representing us in this 3rd game, or albeit previous games tonight. But they still got one more game. We can still pick up points and extend their lead. It's now down to the 137, 133 points in 2nd and 3rd position of, as we mentioned, the side of Most Wanted and, of course, of TSC Legends, holding those 2 positions respectively. And all of the teams below them who are just literally single digits worth of points behind these 2nd and 3rd place teams.
Crazy, so crazy. So just for the last time, I just need to say the importance of developing your mental strengths. If you can't absorb this pressure right now, then that is probably the reason why you can't show up. Luck is one of those things. We accepted that long ago when it comes to this game. but we've also seen how teams can turn that around. And with that ability, in particular RESQ and TSC Legends, that is the reason why they're up there on the leaderboards right now. But for TSC Legends, like we said, 4 points ahead of the third and fourth place, anything can happen. So they need to continue with their strong suit. And then, you know what, just pray for these players. Everything, who knows how this world and universe works, right? Like your extra little bit of encouragement, one DM right here and there, a timely hug, and this and stuff like encouragement. I don't know, your fan, you being a fan, maybe you can be that special factor to change all of this. And just don't look away, because it's officially the last game of the PMCO UK. And just look at the leaderboards.
One more.
Might be
One more.
the tightest across all the PMCOs. One more, and we'll see you all in 10 minutes.
Welcome back, everyone, to the finale here. Final day, the final match of the PMCO UK Swing Split 2021. My name is Erangel, joined by Professor Tarzan, and I know you have some avocado action. Where is it? I see it now. There he is, my boy. Just like my floof over there. We got our floofy action happening for this final Erangel game. I'll tell you what I've also got here, Tarzan. I have something for this avocado. I have my pan here to be able to really cook him up for a juicy meal. And I'll put some rabbit alongside him.
Exactly. Say hi to Professor Avo here. And so if we talk about support, right, he is with us for all the production team, players, casters. So he's here to support if we didn't have enough support already. So yeah, just a quick reminder, eat well. Okay, you're our athletes now, and we will have a long way to go if you know how to manage your own body. So that will be a message delivered to you by Professor Avo, and he can continue to study the game right now under me. And we are so ready for this last game. Look at that leaderboards, man. Crazy congestion at the top. It can be anyone's team, it can be anyone's game, and can be anyone's chance to show themselves and represent the region in PMPL Europe West.
Yeah, we see RESQ here, as we mentioned before the break, pretty safe here going towards the PMPL EU West. But second and third position here, TSC Legends, most wanted. They are the ones that are not safe at all here, Tarzan. CKO1, Gaijin, all the way down to even the likes of Royal Knights that can contest with a pop-off game that third, second place.
It's going to be really hard for Royal Knights, though, but who knows? We've seen them play their particular style and made it work. And I mean, if in particular BeMyLOOT, right? They showed us the bounce back. And it is now or never. Give us the big chicken dinner and show that they deserved it. The second seat from group stage. And the last time, right, like when they played PMCO Europe last split, they just missed the finals, and now they're now here in the finals. How about going one step further?
It is going to be up for the side of BeMyLOOT to show it where it counts. And alongside the rest of these teams coming up, even the likes of HardShift, who started after the day, game number one here in second position, and then it dropped back down to sixth. That's how close the leaderboards have been in between these games today. But now their chance here is still alive. As we talked about how close it is on the bottom end of that leaderboard, it is literally single digits, 137, only now 10 points separating second to seventh.
I don't know what to think anymore, Highland Wolf. You know, we just want to be very spot on with those kill feeds. So we kind of know the numbers advantage coming into those fights mid game to know how likely we hear the sounds of the dreams being crushed by some of these teams. And you know what? Good luck to all of you. And you know what? I'm going to miss this, but let's not focus at the end first. We've got so much action in front of us, and we just need to see. You know what? Should we make some predictions, right? And I will make the first easy one, Highland
Yeah.
Wolf. I think Lakonostra MVP will go to Therapia or the side of Lapovka.
Oh man, here we go. Okay, I think in terms of 777 here, and I risk it because I know how adaptive they can be, go over to Novo, and I also think that Royal Knights will be the ones to join them down on that South Island. But what I'm interested in as well here, Tarzan, is there going to be another set of teams going to be joining them?
I think that can be really likely. And I mean, the uncles in particular haven't shown any particular compound that they want to go to. They drop Milter, of course, but it's not been the case in this finals anymore. We've seen them, the team that's shown most like aggression and intention when it comes to hunting down these teams.
Mm.
Like, and they did that to HardShift on Sanhok around Cow. And I want to see, you know, like if I'm HardShift right now, noticing that we've been targeted, right? Would we actually go away from Saverni? Like, if we do, where do we actually go?
Yeah, it's going to be up to how these teams, I think, initially drop and how these teams will maybe rotate out. Because as well as rotations, you got to rely that that plane path goes towards you, and you got to rely that even that zone goes towards you. For all we've known and for all we've seen in this competition, I would not be surprised, Tarzan, to see an absolutely brutal zone, but it's all up to chance there. In terms of rotations, it's all up to strategy for these teams to get a move on.
And then we are so ready to go. Are you all ready? I know I am. And let's go get it. And we will have that plane path going over. From where do we play this game anymore, Highland Wolf? It's going to be from that northwestern side. And it should go through just about the east side of Everest there. And it's a pretty western playing path. So we will need to see teams once again giving up on those positions that they love so much on the eastern side.
Yeah, we see teams over that like Most Wanted in Kameshki into TSC Legends Mansion, over in Lapovka for the side of Lakonostra MVP. What we do still have, though, is George Paul up. What we still do have is that southwestern coastline and even military base up for the majority of these teams. And you see, interestingly enough, look at the north side, though. See Sort of Sons of Odin going to be dropping alongside HardShift, looking for that early elimination.
Out of all the teams, Sons of Odin's the one that I didn't expect to try to ruin HardShift's game. And this is going to be so spicy. So just look at HardShift right now, getting pushed away, can't go to Saverni. Where would the resources be? Shooting range is really limited on that loot. And the Most Wanted as well, forced to go onto that coastal line. I think they will just find some cars and continue to place this slow game right over to Yasnaya in particular. And we can also see the side of Gaijin actually not taking Georgia Pool this time.
You see Gaijin going to switch it up, going to anticipate those teams going to be crowding around Georgia Pole. And you can tell by that drop that Gaijin do not want to take early fights. They want to make sure that they can survive long enough to be able to make it into some placement points too, on top of the kill points that they want to pick up later on. I am interested as well, though, in the fact you see Vendetta also looking to upset down that south end, dropping alongside Royal Knights and alongside 777 as well.
And RESQ, I mean, they are a team that other teams want out, but they're kind of comfortable at that top right now. With so many teams around them, it's actually bad news for other teams, right? If it goes over to RESQ, then the teams that need these kill points can't really grab it. And of course, Sons of Odin, another team to try to upset things right here. Now they've got Zaverni, still got to rotate into the circle. But this phase 1 circle is so interesting, Island Wolf, not because it complements the playing path or whatnot, it's because it's something that we've seen over and over again in PMCO UK. And these teams should know by now what compounds should be free, what rotation paths these enemies take, and they need to get that edge now because Gatka is so open with those open views in the middle as well. They need to find the prime spot if they want to really get to represent our region in PMPL.
It is going to be, as we say, do or die, really more so do or die than even Miramar, because with that leaderboard opening so close, I think some of these teams have hit a golden, really shine of light here in terms of from the heavens down into their points, because of the fact that some of these teams who are on the top in that third game didn't make it. In fact, the majority of those top teams didn't make it into the final placements or get kills. So they've been saved in that sense. And a team like Most Wanted still have a chance because they've been able to move into that third position as a result of it, because they've now have that chicken dinner victory going alongside them. But we can see just how easily in the past that teams can be eliminated. And I think for the majority, at least of this early game, I would not be surprised at all to see the most passive Erangel game we've seen all competition. See Lakonostra MVP here, joining up here, moving around Ferry Pier as TES as well. Move their way across over on that other side of zone, over on Milta Power and Primorsk, sorry, should I say, as they will be on that dark side, going to be adjusting their position through into zone, adjusting their position to the center, because, of course, Tarzan, we do have to note here that over towards the center of this zone, right, that goes through Gatka Fields once again, that goes through into the side of that very open area that teams could get caught out on their rotations.
Yeah. And the point that you mentioned earlier, right, that it should be a slower game, is completely true. Is what we should expect as well, because there's no space, no chance for them to make any mistakes. And you know what? I've been thinking a lot for a team, and that HardShift right now, when they got pushed away from Zaverni, they can still use this game, right? And the strongest map that they know, like so far in the tournament, to really get the most deserved qualification. Because they got pushed away from Zaverni down in kind of in the middle of nowhere. So in the likes of them showing so much strength in rotation, they can maybe just find a way to go to the eastern side, maybe to first grab some loot, because in the past they've been playing that slow game, but they rely on an empty Zaverni to first loot up, then go for those rotations. And this time round, they are put to the test, and I actually want to see them perform and you know what, show us why they deserve it.
A team here that is also on that bubble, Ki1, had the potential there to finish off the chicken dinner, but couldn't quite close it out in Miramar. They took that fourth position. They did take some kills with them alongside them, which means they still have that chance to now draw themselves with side of Most Wanted and into now that top three position. Sat on 103, 33 points for them. BeMyLOOT, though, dropping again in school. And it is an interesting position to drop in school, right? Because they are actually, for most part, compared to other teams, close to that center of zone. And they're going to be close to a nice rotation to overlook, as we mentioned earlier, that open center area and maybe catch those rotations out and be that team to pick up the kills. Because, as we know, BeMyLOOT, yes, they maybe have that potential to come up to the top, but they're going to need a whopping amount of kills to do so.
And actually, speaking of BeMyLOOT, right, they still have the chance to make it in, but they may need a different game plan because we've seen time and time again with this type of circle ending around school apartments, they drop there and they just prefer staying there when they've got access to other stronger positions. So that is something that they definitely have to do, in my opinion, to get this biggest win ever in the tournament for them to make it work. But Shoxy from Sons of Odin has otherwise to say, and just allowing BeMyLOOT to find another reason to stay in those hard covers.
Well, BeMyLOOT do blow up their first knock, and it will be their first kill, potentially going to go ahead for them. Sultan rotating around Sons of Odin and showing them why they are the team ahead of them in that leaderboard standings. Kindboy also keeping strong in that open field as Sons of Odin make that retreat. Albert and Sambra going to be on a new path out of there, keep themselves alive to maybe upset some more teams.
And this is not a great position to stay for too long. I think both teams need to start scouting further to the western side, because we talk about Gatka Fields, right? And if it ever finished there, the teams that got those compounds will have so much priority and strength against the rest of the lobby. And but we need to see how they play it. And the side of Lakonostra as well have made the big rotation now over here to control a lot of these open grounds. And because they know there's multiple teams that may need to rotate through this south side or coast side area, and they can maybe farm further. And they just still need to play this a little bit slow. And we will need to see the shift, and it will actually have most of a little bit of the Southern Island still in play. So for a team like Royal Knights that still got some slim chance to come in, they need to see how to cross right there, because Vendetta is once again in here trying to stop some of these teams for when it comes to grabbing points. And TSC has a strong middle position and need to see how the rest of the team comes in. RESQ, we talked about them when they are forced to play edge. They can't really show up that much, but of course they're all the way at the top now. But how about Most Wanted and HardShift? Both of these teams need points, but they may just clash on the eastern side.
You talked about Royal Knights. To tell you how they rotate is through that eastern bridge, up through farm, and along that coastal line, away and out of sight from some of these teams. But because they held off in that rotation for now, Most Wanted and HardShift is actually going to be stealing that core position and entrance away, and it's going to make it quite tricky for Royal Knights to make their debut into this final match and contest some of those kill points, which, keep in mind, also Royal Knights are in desperate need of.
And I'm actually just clenching my jaw and every part of my body right now. It's just so scary to watch some of these rotations, especially for Albert to take a knock on TSC. It's not what you want. The point doesn't need to go over there, but TSC is a team that you don't want to see them out early. I want to see, you know what, the final circles to be a battle between all these teams that still have a chance.
If TSC almost wanted fall out early of this game, there is realistically zero chance that they will qualify. And same, of course, definitely goes for all the teams in fourth position downwards, still very close to those qualifying PMPL EUS positions. One of these teams looking to try come up from that 8th spot, only 8 points away, Lakonostra MVP, and you see even 777 just below them, 9 points away in 9th position.
And so many possible Cinderella stories here, because we can see in the likes of Gaijin Seraphim as well. They spoke like they just want to get a little bit more out of the tournament because they were quite far down. But they're now at 5th position, just 7 points away from 2nd. And I just can't, I think my heart can't take it anymore. And that is just how crazy it is. And all these teams still trying to get a way in. So they need to use all their knowledge and skills in scouting in particular to find themselves a spot. It's fine if you want to play edge. If you want to play safe, then guard it, right? And know where to scout, which spot you may want to take. And there's now or never.
I hope Professor Avocado will be able to find you some heart relief here and find a real strategy to recover. But recovering for these teams and the likes of TSC Legends inside the midst of these fields of every other player rotating in, it, yes, could be a massive amount of kills that they pick up, but it's risky to take the center position as a team still so close to being potentially eliminated if you fall down early. because they've not found those shots. It's still 16 teams alive.
And this is not good for Ki1. They need those points. They are tied at 4th position right now, and they just need to find a way out because Hisoka is completely choked behind that position. TSC is a team that you don't want to give the points to, and they will be choked there, and it's nightmare for them because we have a Western shift. And you know what? That just allows the side of RESQ to get an easier entry, and it will make teams like HardShift and Most Wanted suffer right now because look at that landscape, man. Like the majority of the circle being open, the more hardcovers are on the eastern side, and most teams are actually on that southeastern part trying to get in. HardShift needs to show the biggest brain wide rotation if they want to qualify for PMPL.
Well, I've been taking a page out of your book, and I noticed the TES team are rotating down to those edge of Forest Hills, overlooking that massively strong edge of coastline compound. But you do have to keep in mind compounds here in terms of Vendetta and 777. Vendetta, unfortunately for them, not able to be able to take out 777, but a great news for 777 because they start themselves off 1 kill on the board. Can't quite find the second as Vendetta keep themselves alive, keep all 16 teams alive in this final game. But it is now going to be that point with phase 3 closing in around these teams. It will force some of them to drop.
You know what? Let's talk about 777 Esports in that rich compound. The last time they took it, they came second or top 3. They know the strengths of this compound and how it can choke all the teams trying to rotate and get sightlines on that open field. And they can still comfortably play edge using this because they can get so much information in those open ground and just farm for now. Because like you can't play center all the time, and they know that sweet transition point when they play this compound. And I can actually excited to see how they make it work in their favor.
It will be even interesting to see as we talk about the strength of those edge of Forest Hills, how Lakonostra MVP, gatekeep behind them TES, and in front of them you even see Ki1 holding that shed and that one building to their name. Royal Knights also find though one onto Moha, and Ki1 not looking so pretty as they lose another of their potential chances to take these points and take these games away from others.
And they're so hard for them. Down to duo, and they're in the house that are being looked at. The limited escape strategy from there, or I should say, very predictable when they try to escape from that. And that is the problem for Ki1 right now. They need to know how to grab the scrapes of point and wish for the other teams to do some work for them, because that numbers disadvantage is going to be really, really hard to fight off. And we are going to have a little bit of an action very, very soon because the congestion is on that southeastern side, and the shift will go over to the western part with, while Esport having one of the strongest compounds, not quite in the center, but RESQ is there to dominate. Maybe they get access to those hills, and it's a very open finish. So think about your cars, think about your utilities, think about the timing of the entrance, and all the best to all these teams.
RESQ going to sit on the edge, but a team that I'm interested in, we talked about even in the bottom side, RENGERS right at the bottom of 16th position, going to control one of those strongest hills alongside even while Esport inside the zone, 14th position. The upset could really be real here going into this 4th and final game of the entire competition, Tarzan. For these spoiler plays. 777 also trying to dodge their way and through into zone, but it won't be so successful. We lose one. Royal Knights also lost Starboy in a rotation, and Lakonostra MVP showing us why these hills are so strong.
They need to keep moving, though, because we can see how 777 Esports went for that early, and they've got a reason for that, right? They can outlive a few teams, but they've lost all their vehicles in there. And Spartan from HardShift tried to do the same, but will not be able to establish that anchor point, and they still need to try. HardShift is still trying to cruise through. It's not going to be easy. TSC found another shack in here, and this is the good one. This is the experience coming through because they not only found that cover, they've got enough sides to cover their cars, and they have a little bit of elevation.
They do have the elevation indeed here, Tarzan, but so do 777 have the movability with their vehicles, and you can see them starting their engines inside the smoke, using a utility to block a road out of there. But inside this zone, TES are now crashing onto LN MVP, more grenades flying their way, and it will be LN MVP losing a second. It might be closed doors for them if TES can take the final two. The engage comes in. They are Dika from one side, Ali from another. Just down for Danny. Can he hold off with Senso? The engagement. One falls down. Ali also drops. Now DR comes in. 2-2 for now. Make it 2-3 and make it TES down. 4 kills for LN MVP. They keep their chances alive.
And TES team got their dreams crushed by another team who can't go out. Lakonostra is holding strong still, but they have a very good team next to them. The Uncles, very desperate to take down these top teams, and they are in here to maybe destroy more of these teams. And Lakonostra will hold strong still, and they want this compound for a very good reason. It's on the edge, it has elevation, and it allows them to look at the rest of that open field, and they also grab all this loot from taking that fight. The clutch came through when it mattered.
Uncles dishing out onto Sons of Odin to warm themselves up to fight in front, but also Royal Knights losing now a second as well. So will Bowler for Wild as BeMyLOOT pick up another crucial kill and knock from there. Inside Dovis edge, Uncles are gatekeeping away on that zone, and MVP better hope that doesn't go up north because it's going to be a nasty zone, but it will. And that zone will go over to BeMyLOOT, Gaijin, and RENGERS.
Oh my god, and I can hear the dreams maybe crushing for HardShift. It's so hard. The HardShift goes against HardShift, and they need to find a way in. Down to 2 players, they can't do anything too risky right now, so they just got the entry spot and they need to hold it stronger. BeMyLOOT maybe in position to win this. We've only got 20 more seconds to go. Lakonostra MVP need to come up with a good plan. They can't rotate early because they're too far away, arguably the furthest from the zone right now, and they need to find this time. And they also know there's a team next to them, so maybe they can get a few more points before rotating. Let's see how they do it.
Uncles won't give them it though. They'll rotate on the opposite end of that blue zone closing in, but TSC will find another onto Royal Knights, trying to end it for them, as well as Ki1 look to try pick up those rotation kills. Is faster, also now knocked down for TSC Legends. Will also now eliminate another of 777 here from Tango. Uncles, Eslam caught slow in that rotation, will be punished for it. Simple also knocked, and now Uncles might just be the end here, as it will fall down their squad in 14th position. 13 for HardShift, as they also will fall out most wanted as well in 11th position.
And Lakonostra took matters in their own hand and destroyed the dreams on HardShift. But they need to hold this even stronger. They need to rotate a little bit more, and they can just use this for now. Look at all the fights happening. TSC can stab them from the side as well, and RESQ is in here to control even further.
RESQ eliminating dreams as they dissect away 777. Only one now more remaining player. Tango's just going to die to that zone phase 5, engulfing them and put them down into the end of dire straits here. As now RESQ holding on 3 kills. The 4-man squad still up strong. BeMyLOOT meanwhile picking away kills slowly, extending maybe their position towards the center of this zone as phase 6 about to shift back onto our screens.
I can't take it. I can't take it. Lakonostra can maybe make it work. Look at TSC actually getting knocked. Bujo, the IGL, can't be out for them. He is so strong. He is a key player in this game right here, and they need to make it work. And Lakonostra, with the likes of HardShift and TSS team out, and Ki1 having basically a really bad game as well, they need to make this work now. They need to first get into this new circle.
You see the rotation, that north side. Most Wanted might be able to find that crucial pick for themselves. but it's still going to be tricky for them to find a position in. Coming over that hilltop, it's 777, desperate UV, the final player to make that rotation in, but will be curtains for 777, will not qualify for the PMPL as they fall in 10.
And Most Wanted actually has no congestion, won't have any resistance on the northern side, but they don't have the player's advantage. So they need to play this very, very carefully. So that will leave that momentum on the side of TSC. And just look at BeMyLOOT as well. We mentioned them actually having a chance in here, and they've been fragging pretty decently so far. And who knows what's going to happen? And the move is now finally happening from the side of Lakonostra MVP and BeMyLOOT trying to destroy the dreams of Most Wanted.
They will pick apart Tadazika, the crucial synergy player they brought on board, out of this final match and out of the competition, while still alive here to make some upsets happen in their hands. But now maybe just be kills their way towards BeMyLOOT, picking up even more knocks. Going to chuck back Grenade over to try find a final 2. Yes, they will. It will be 6 kills now going BeMyLOOT's way.
Who knows what's going to happen? This type of hills is testing all the game knowledge right now. They need to know which exact rock or tree or even dips that can give them the winning edge. And this is BeMyLOOT needing to push through even more. Ki1 can't go out right now. They need to push off the side of RESQ. RESQ are probably going to be crowned the best teams in the UK, but they need to clear more teams to show that further.
RESQ, though, their final game, they always show up strong. They always clutch it when it counts, here, Tarzan. In these final 2 days, you saw that be the case. Ki1 are on their last legs as well. Still potentially chance to stay alive, but they have to make that miracle play, that miracle 1v4 happen as Tick comes round the underside to try finish off Hackshot. The first knock goes their way as Hackshot looking to make the second, but will have to hold strong now. Still Blood half HP as well, but Coyote's in front of him with the full health advantage over Hackshot. That phase 6 zone, all the meanwhile closing in.
And Gaijin is in here still as well. Let's not forget about them. They are only 7 points away from the second place, and they're trying to put so much damage, and TSC is out at 8th.
TSC heartbreak for them as they're unable to make it happen. But BeMyLOOT on that north side with Most Wanted, they're edging their way towards that victory inside phase 6 zone comfortably here, Tarzan. But it is Most Wanted only 12. The solo player alive will stay quiet for as long as possible, only pick up the kills as soon as he knows there is a chance to do so. But if he could find that 1 versus 3, would be crucial to the upset.
I mean, he's still got a chance. He just needs to know how to stay quiet and rely on the rest of the lobby to do their jobs. And Gaijin actually has this really sweet split right now. They can maybe kill Malik from RENGERS and just clear that team out, take that spot, use that drop as hard cover. And that is something I really wish them doing. And they've also got the numbers advantage right now. And this is going to be absolute madness.
It is going to be so tense the final couple moments going into this final match. The end of the UK competition at its climax here as Most Wanted will fall out in 7th position, quickly followed by Hackshot in 6. And that will be Ki1. The door also closed and then by RESQ as they make their assault over now towards Lakonostra MVP.
And I think Lakonostra MVP and Gaijin can both take the 2nd and 3rd seed because this point separation is so close. So it's now or never with 8 kills on the board as well. Lakonostra can maybe do it.
Lakonostra, they have the chance indeed. RESQ now just down to 2 players, but they're split. They've got a broad range on the south end to be able to make at least maybe one of them into the now. Phase 7 is closing in. No, phase 8 now going to be just as quickly upon us as Lakonostra MVP also need to make that speedy crawl on out of there. But on the other side, Gaijin, you mentioned, still alive. BeMyLOOT still up with the strong amount of members. As Senso goes down, gets picked by Hyper, but in return, Hyper will be punished by Danny, and Nori will finish him off. And that will be just rescue down to one more member. Coyote trying to make some more of that utility useful as they'll find one onto Malik. Throw the Molotovs onto Gaijin, just trying to play as much spoiler as possible.
And it's just going to be so tense with the utilities going down as well. You know what? Gaijin might be able to qualify here, but they need to use this ridge line so well. That relative high ground is so small, and look at how all these players relying on the edge and using those utilities to get a small advantage. Adobo to lead the way. We know what they can do. They've once lost hope, and they have no further reason to go against themselves. They can maybe take this. The four members, the full team. Now we're down to 3. Both them and Lakonostra are in here. BeMyLOOT needs the biggest team. If they do it, they can make it through as well.
Gaijin from 10th position, maybe take it into qualification through these 4 games today. They're starting to make their assault into the center. They're starting to make their kills count, but BeMyLOOT are the ones with the kills. They've got 11, but Sultan's been knocked. Kindboy on the opposite side, just so quickly down to 1 member. BeMyLOOT's chances are slipping as Nemo, the only one alive, to swim his way into some qualification spot.
And they need every point that matters now. It can't even risk for that revive right now. They want to get every single point, and they're trying to finish the dreams of Gaijin, trying to spray it all down. What's it Huracan?
It is going to be Gaijin. It crushes the door on BeMyLOOT. Danny trying to make it happen to Gaijin, but Prada goes down, and Danny will also be matching it, as it will be Gaijin here to take the chicken dinner in his final game. They will, with that result, qualify here as well, Tarzan, for the PMPL EU West.
Okay, you know what? Like, I'm pretty sure they have, and I'm happy for them. But what's after that? Who will make that 3rd seat? We need to find out, because Lakonostra had a very decent game. I think it just might be them, but they got 12 points behind the 2nd seat initially. Was that enough is the question. We need to see the leaders, but I don't know. I can't rely on my brain and the quick maths right now. No math will work for me right now, and we just need to see, and we'll reveal that all together. So when that is ready, it will be on our screen, and we can see who will be crowned the best team of the UK this split, as well as which are the 2 will make it through, and Highland Wolf just take it away.
It will be Lakonostra MVP taking 3rd position, Gaijin in 2nd, and the RESQ clutch my pick here, take up 1st position, and those will be our 3 representatives from the UK region for the PMPL EU West competition later in the year. Unfortunate though, of course, for the side of TSC Legends, BeMyLOOT, literally 4.6 points again for BeMyLOOT here to qualifying, but it's just not enough.
You know what? Let's think about how close that was. BeMyLOOT could actually realistically qualify there. The point difference when it comes to placement points between the 1st place and 3rd place is 5 points. But not just by taking those 5 points, they would take that away from Lakonostra MVP if they could do it. So that was actually Danny, and you know what? I don't even know anymore. Whose fault was that or whatever? It doesn't matter anymore. It's time for them for these teams to celebrate, and we do celebrate for them. But BeMyLOOT had such a great run. Same for so many of these teams for making it so close. But Gaijin Seraphim was the definition of the Cinderella story. I kind of want to go back to see how far they were from that top, and now just comfortably sitting at the second seat.
Yeah, you see even Gaijin here over at the end. Unfortunately, they didn't have the best 3 games, but they managed to make it count on the final day here, and they maybe will be able of course, to make it count over in PMPL EU West. We gotta hope that our three representatives will be able to show up strong for us here in the future of the region. But thank you, of course, to all 16 teams, as you can see on the screen, for participating, making it probably one of the most epic competitions here, Tarzan, that I could have actually asked for. And to make it literally individual digits of points to being that final match, the deciding match to so many of these teams.
What can I say? I found the stats, by the way. Gaijin Seraphim, after yesterday, they got 75 points. And they've taken, how many was that? 79 points today? Am I correct? 79 points today.
Yeah.
To take this qualification to PM. Absolute madness. We have never seen any of the teams throughout whole tournament to get 79 points in one single day. What a Cinderella story. What a run for them. What an honor to cast them and all of these teams as well.
What a run for even Lakonostra MVP to be able to make it from the bottom side of that leaderboard through the day to clutch it in a final game, to clutch it not only in the second position, but grab those kills. And you could see how desperate some of these teams were being inside of these final moments, inside of this final game, to grab up those kills. How desperate even BeMyLOOT were to sacrifice even players for kills to try grab all of those points they needed. But as we say, just not quite enough. And I do hope as well, though, for teams that don't make it in, to be able to keep strong, as you say, keep on practicing towards future competitions, because it's not over. We're just at the start of the year and the start of the entire annual competition here, Tarzan, and there is still plenty of time for these teams and these squads, these organizations, to be able to show up and still get all the way to the World League at the end of the year.
So many ways, and they just need to stay innovative, stay fresh. And speaking of innovation, for the one last time, let's not forget about our sponsors, Xiaomi, creating innovation for everyone. I get to do the last one, and you got to like that one. And spot on there. It's about what they do from now. Take some most deserved rest. Plan forward. Think about, the best players and teams, they use all the experience to the maximum. Everything is for them to learn. There's mistakes, of course, but there are good mistakes if it's trial and error. They can also have what seem to be success and good fights, good kills, but they might not be as clean as they need to be. So their ability to do that, and how they place the mentality around all these experience, especially in a tournament like this, is the element and the raw material that they need to continue to grow. Look at how close they've been. Next split is a matter of how all of you outgrow each other. You need to all be better than yourselves and be better quicker than your enemies.
It's going to be about that growth and that growth through the year for all of these teams, even the ones that are qualified. But it's been an amazing journey of growth here for you and me. I've got as well my little bunny here. He is going to wave us goodbye, and so will your avocado. He's not got hands to wave you goodbye. Maybe his leg can do it. There we go. I'll bring him into screen. There he is. And also, we need to wave in a thanks here to also Christian, our amazing producer on the back end. He's silent right now, but he has been the true innovation behind the scene and the true magician behind all of these slides and this action. So without further ado, thank you guys for joining in to all of the competition of the PMCO UK Spring Split 2021. And I wish you all a very, very lovely good night, guys.
Take care. Goodbye. Take care. Stay safe.